Blue Jays over the Orioles 9-8. It took 10 innings, but the Royals shut out the Braves 1-0. Cubs hammer the Brewers 10-3. The Astros win again, 9-1. They beat the Nationals. Still to come this afternoon, or games going on right now. The Pirates and Giants are knotted up at 1 apiece in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bottom of the 3rd in San Diego. Padres up 2-0 on the Mets. Phillies and White Sox in a rain delay in Chicago. That one yet to get underway. Still to come, Guardians hosting the Rockies. Yankees play host to the Rays. Dodgers on the road in Cincinnati. Cardinals and Marlins. Angels and Rangers in Anaheim.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. We are live at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Seahawks training camp continues on a very... I don't know, this is a very light day. What would you call this? Is this a walkthrough, Dave? There are no helmets even. There are no pads. They're out there in baseball hats and just shorts and T-shirts.
What do I call it?
Boring?
Soft.
Yeah. There's literally nothing really going on out there.
No, there isn't. I got down here early, and I was like, yeah, I like to watch practice. And, yeah, they're just walking through stuff. Look, the same amount of teaching is going on out there. And, you know, I was watching Boye Mafe, who we're going to have on the show. And, yeah, I was like, oh, this will be cool. Looks like he's out there with a coach, and he's going to work on something. They just stood there and talked for about 10 minutes. So, yeah,
well,
I mean.
We'll ask them what they talked about.
Yeah.
Sure,
exactly. So I'm sure, and I think it was a coverage thing for him because, you know, I think every once in a while, of course, he's going to have to drop back into coverage. But, yeah, it's just a light day. And I don't know, Mike McDonald, not known for, you know, having these kinds of practices. He's more the other way. So yeah. I'm just wondering if maybe a couple of guys had, you know, hamstrings and tightness and fatigue and things like that. And so they're just, you know, taking it down a notch.
Yeah, because guys are literally running around with either no hat or just a baseball hat on and shirt and shorts and just going through the motions out there. So we'll talk to Boye Mafe after they wrap things up for the day. That'll be somewhere in the 3 o'clock hour. Jon Morosi will join us at 5 p.m. today, so stay tuned for that. We'll see if there's any movement as far as the trade deadline goes, if the Mariners make any moves, because the deadline is tomorrow. What is it, 3 p.m. our time, I believe? 3 p.m. Pacific, right? Yeah, tomorrow. So almost just a little over, we're 24 hours away, 25 hours away from the trade deadline happening, and we'll see what the Mariners end up doing. We may have some other guests. We got some balls in the air here, so we'll see what lands. But right now, Boye Mafe and Jon Morosi will join us. If you guys want to weigh in on anything going on, you can text into 866-979-3776. You can share your thoughts on that dud last night. That was a very disappointing game last night. It was a rough one for Logan Evans. It was a rough one for the offense, Dave. They, I don't know what you say about that one. You look at their I was going through their schedule. Their last 10 games, they're 4-6. And they've scored a total of 24 runs in those games, which, if my math is accurate, is 2.4 runs per game. And that includes one game where they scored 7. So that skewed it a bit. They have not been good offensively, at least in the last 10. And last night that was still true. J.P. Crawford is struggling. You got other guys struggling. J.P. 2 for his last 34.
Yeah, I was just looking at that in his game logs going, man.
Yeah, for July, he's slashing 232, 291, 326.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, not good. So, yeah, I mean, the message is still out there. I'd like to have a little bit more offense. But, yeah, that was I loved the game the night before, just the Ben Williamson game. And this one just went the exact opposite way.
You didn't love anything about this one?
Not really.
Yeah?
No. Let me check my notes.
Yeah. Go ahead and weigh in with your thoughts, Dave. What else you got?
No.
Okay. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That's all we have for today. As far as JP, though, I'm wondering, you know, you don't have many options as far as if you wanted to move him down in the order to give him a bit of a break, perhaps. Maybe he's pressing. I mean, this is a guy who wasn't that long ago. He had a 16-game hit streak.
Yeah.
And now you look at him, and he's 2 for his last 34. I mean, it's just two extremes back to back. So if you wanted to move him down, I don't know, would you put Julio in that leadoff spot? I know you did the one day you gave him the day off when Dylan Moore played short. Julio hit leadoff, and Julio with a couple base knocks last night. I don't know, maybe he's feeling good. You could put him in the leadoff spot for a couple of games and take some of the heat off of JP, perhaps. I don't know. We've been talking about this with other guys, whether it's Dylan Moore or anybody else. I'm guessing they are leaving no stone unturned when it comes to trying to fix some of these guys, and I'm sure Edgar and Seitzer are trying to do whatever it is they can do. But, I think we're seeing that they don't have the magic fairy dust everybody thought they had after 34 games last year.
Yeah.
They're just going to sprinkle that on them all season long. They're going to be fine.
Well, I mean, when you're talking about moving guys around the lineup, that's kind of when you've run out of answers, right? I mean, you're like, okay, this guy is cold right now. How do we get him going? And then sometimes it's just a matter of patience. And talked about this yesterday that Dan Wilson has a pretty good, beat on these guys' personalities and everything. But yeah, I mean, I just think at this point, especially for fans, they're probably looking at going, okay, you've tried this, you've set this guy, you've done this, we acquired one guy, but where's the offense going to come from after they get, 6 hits and 1 run?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you got this bat sitting on the bench and we're all going, well, how come you're not playing this guy?
Yeah.
We saw that Rayleigh had been out for a few games, and Shannon brought that up yesterday when we talked to her, and then lo and behold, they make a move. They bring up Tyler Locklear, and Rayleigh goes on the IL with some sort of back issue. And I don't know if that's related to what happened to him before or whatever was going on. He was having a hard time getting it going, right? He had a couple of sparks here and there, but for the most part, kind of a lost season for him.
Yeah.
Really nothing to build on from last season, where he was kind of the one acquisition that came through, and this has been a disappointment. Got off to a slow start, then he got hurt, was out for quite a while, comes back, had a couple of moments, and then just kind of faded again.
Well, and like you said, I mean, if you go back and look at over the last, 3 years where they've brought in the Listellas of the world, and and you brought him in, and he actually, and I think he started out well when he first got here, but at the end of the season last year, he was killing it. And we were talking about him going, man, this is the one guy, and it kind of slowly built up that this is the one guy that they have acquired over the last few years that's really been good, and just, hasn't found his stroke yet.
Yeah, so I don't know what, we'll see how things go with the trade deadline, because I'm not entirely sure how Locklear fits in. You've got your everyday first baseman, and we'll talk more about, that move coming up in the show. But, yeah, they got to figure something out with this offense. Dan Wilson, after the game, he was asked about the recent struggles with the offense. Here's what he had to say.
I mean, I think, again, tonight, we did create a lot of traffic. We had runners on. We were having some good at-bats. We took some walks. We had some singles. Able to get a lot of runners on. We hit some balls hard, like I said, in those situations, but just coming up short. And, sometimes you can't control some of that, but, we're getting the traffic we need, and now it's just a matter of getting them in.
I wonder how tough it is to be that positive after such a dud game. Because he's I'll give him credit. He'll preach how these guys are gritty and they kept fighting. And, we had some good at-bats up there, and we worked. He had 4 walks in this game. You struck out much more than you walked, certainly. But when your team goes 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, you strand 9 on the base paths.
You feel sorry for Dan?
No?
I mean, every night he's got to go up and try to explain that. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like this with other teams, but it just seems like the Mariners will just go through these spots of just hitlessness.
Yeah.
They just don't provide any kind of offense. And for Dan to get up there and try to explain, I mean, I think it's almost more like, hey, let's wait and see what happens tonight. But yeah, that was especially like I said, coming off of that game that I just thought was a gritty game and great defense, and got hits, and from you got some hits certainly from Ben Williamson, and it just wasn't the same as the night before. It was like this team just took a 180, and it was the other night was just fun to watch. It's horrible.
Yeah, it was just flat. You didn't get much out of anybody. I mean, it was good to see Julio with a double. He was the only guy that had multiple hits, but They had 6 total hits as a team. He had 2 of them, so you had 4 spread out throughout the rest of the lineup for the entire game. And you couldn't, more importantly, I would love, and I don't think Dan would ever say it, but I would love to have him come out and just go, we got to be better than that. We are better than that. We can't go 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. We can't strand 9.
Yeah.
We shot ourselves in the foot. I don't think that's, at a line for him to talk that way. But, I understand it's not his personality. He's very much looking for the silver lining. And, hey, we're grinding, and we got traffic out there, and we'll go get him tomorrow.
Well, and the question is, and Dan Wilson probably better than anybody, right? You played in the softball with them, charity game and all that, and I'm sure he has that side. And I'm wondering if, that's just a face he puts on when he, goes out to meet with the media. And I wonder if he's getting after him. But again, it's not like football.
No.
It's not like hey guys, we got to play harder. We got to do this and that. No, you went out and just did not put any hits together. No offense. So I don't know how, maybe he gets a little bit tougher behind, once the doors are closed. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think he's, I don't think he needs to go in there and light him up. I don't know that changes anything. But it is just. It's more of a, just kind of a surface thing. It really doesn't make a ton of difference, ultimately, what he's saying to the media. Yeah. His message to the team is what matters. It's got to be tough on a night like that where it's just team had nothing. They were just flat. It was a rough outing, to say the very least. Logan Evans was not good, and he went out there and just didn't have his command. He got lit up, and, you look at him in his 5 starts in July, he's got a 5.63 ERA. It's been a rough go for him. Yeah. And then you're thinking, all right, well, maybe you call up Emerson Hancock. Well, I was looking at his numbers. His 5 starts in July, he's got a 6.48 ERA in AAA. Yeah. So he's scuffling down there. So you don't really have an answer for that 5th spot right now. I mean, you're just much like your offense. You're just kind of shuffling around pieces that sometimes they're decent, sometimes not so decent. But you don't have that answer give this kid a shot. It's not there right now.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned in the notes about, okay, do you bring up Emerson Hancock? And like you said, in AAA, looking at his numbers, not good. His last game was 6 innings and gave up 5 earned runs. But, look, he had some good outings, right? I mean, he had, against Cleveland, 7 innings, 0 earned runs. I think he gave up 2 hits in that outing. And so he's had some flashes of brilliance, but he started off slow, very slow, and then got sent down for a little while and came back and was okay. So I don't know, the way Logan Evans looks right now, I mean, I don't know how you can replace him with a guy that's struggling right now at the AAA level.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is there. I know it's maybe it's in the trade deadline. Maybe they do go get a starter.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is, but it's brutal when you're struggling on the mound and at the plate. There's nothing to back up a young pitcher when he's struggling. All right, let's give this guy a cushion. Let's, give him a soft landing. He doesn't have to feel like he's got to be absolutely precise, and he wasn't. He's got a ton of movement on his pitches. It's amazing how much movement he has. Now his command was not there at all, and it was moving way out of the strike zone. But just watching that view from behind the mound and seeing how much that ball bends, how much movement, it's pretty impressive. But it doesn't mean much if you've got no command, because big leaguers aren't going to chase.
Yeah,
and they weren't.
What was the one that got hit? I don't know if it was Soderstrom. It was a curveball. I think it went 81.
It was just hanging.
Yeah,
it just hung over the middle of the plate.
Hung there, and he was sitting there waiting on it. So, yeah, I mean, it was...
That was Rooker, wasn't it? I think Rooker just laced that down the left field line,
right.
just launched it. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It just was not a good night. And then you look at the standings, the couple of finals on the day, and, the teams that you're chasing or you're competing with, if you will, in the wild card, the Astros won. So they're 4.5 games ahead of you as we sit. You're a game and a half behind the Yankees for that first spot. That first wild card spot. You're a full game behind Boston for that second spot, and the Mariners have the third spot right now with a 1-game lead on Texas. So kind of keeping an eye on 4 teams out there. Tampa Bay's 3 games back, so they're kind of hovering, but it's really Boston, New York, Texas, and the Astros.
Yeah,
keeping an eye on, because that dictates where you're going to be, obviously.
Yeah. So, yeah, and again, it's just amazing. We talked about this yesterday about what Houston has been able to do with just the depth that they have. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a struggle right now. One more game against against the A's, and then, you know, they're going to go head-to-head with the team that's trailing them by a game in Texas for a 4-game stand.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a huge series. I mean, that is massive because they're right there again, as we just said. They're a game back. They're right on your heels, and this is big. I mean, it's fun in a way that it's compelling, and it's neck and neck, and you know, you want to see this team. I'd love for them to have a 10-game lead and have that spot all locked up, but I like when it's compelling. I like when you're kind of watching every day and looking at box scores and what did this team do? What did that team do? And like we were talking about with the MVP race. I kind of like, you know, Cal doing this. What did he do today? Okay, what did Judge do today? And just that, to me, is part of the fun. Yeah. Now, having said that, I'd much rather the Mariners had a massive lead. We weren't worried about it. We were just talking about, all right, can everybody stay healthy? How do we set up the rotation for the postseason? Those would be fun conversations to have.
Yeah, I'm just curious how fans, you know, take games like that, and is it just that happens to most teams, or is it just particular with the Mariners? Because it just seems like that when they're really good, you just feel like you're on top of the world, and then when things go wrong, and especially when it happens with the pitching, because that's something that you count on so much, and you count on Logan Evans being a guy that's going to, you know, come out just like that Logan Gilbert did and George Kirby did, and you know that happens, and then you just get zero offensive help. And you know, for spells this year, you know, you look at Donnie Barrels stepping up and getting hits, and then you know you had Dylan Moore, and JP was like quietly and kind of sneakily having a really good year, and then all of a sudden it just goes lights out.
By the way,
that's the frustrating thing.
Mariners, you see him from Jeff Passan, have acquired a reliever, Caleb Ferguson from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So he's a 29-year-old, 6'3", 225. He's got a 3.74 ERA right now. So we'll see what the return was. He didn't have any of that, or do you have that left going?
Adam Jude has it now. He says minor leaguer Jeter Martinez, another pitcher. He's going to Pittsburgh.
Okay, so it was one for one.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
There you go. So there's an arm for the bullpen, and I have no doubts he'll come here and have an impact.
Do we have a follow-up on Willie Castro? I don't know if you heard that when you were driving in, but they took him out of a game, and
it was because it was a blowout, so everyone got wildly speculative.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think some Twins beat reporters had to say he's not being traded.
Yeah.
At least not yet.
But this time of year, this is the speculation and the fervor that happens. So
yeah, because they lost. We needed the Red Sox to lose, and Twins didn't help. They lost 13-1.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and so you got you got a reliever, you got an arm there, and I would imagine, and more importantly, hope that they're not done. But we knew they'd go after a reliever, so you got some help for the bullpen, and I've got faith that he's going to come in here and have an impact. That's been their strength. That's the one. Even if you're a pessimist, you can't stand them. Front office, they make terrible moves. You can't argue with the success, the track record they've had when it comes to specifically the bullpen. Not every one of them works out. Obviously, Santos has not worked out, but they've got a really good batting average when it comes to hitting on bullpen arms.
Well, you know what's funny is Santos. I mean, he was a guy that you expected to be good. All the other, it seemed like the guys that really pan out, you brought it up yesterday, and I think it's a perfect example. Justin Topa.
Yeah.
You know, like who in the hell is Justin Topa? And he ended up being good. He was somebody that they actually traded away, right, for Polanco.
Yeah, the Topa, Penn Murphy was a guy they counted on for a while, and we always bring up Sewald was like, who's this old guy being called up with Jared Kelnick and Logan Gilbert? And
he's only got two pitches that he throws. That's it.
So, and I know everybody's keeping an eye on Willie Castro. I'm not certain about is he that much of an upgrade. I mean, he's got 10 homers. He's not a big power. He's not a bopper. He kind of plays all over the place.
Well, the other thing I heard, I was listening to Bump and Stacy, and they were talking about it, but people were reporting that he was saying goodbye to his teammates.
Yeah, maybe
they were like, you know, hey, it looked like this whole thing where he's like, okay, guys, see you later, man. It's been great playing with you. So I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, he's a utility guy.
Right.
He's not your traditional thumping third baseman. He's played second base, third base, shortstop, left field, center field, right field this year. And the majority of his games, it looks like he's played at second base. So
Well, and the Mariners aren't the only ones in the mix. I'm just saying it was kind of interesting that, you said, Mike, the media was trying to say, no, we're just in a blowout. We're taking him out because the reports were that, he was saying goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, I think maybe it was Passan that came out a little bit later and said he's not going anywhere. Okay. Or some of them said that. At least in that game.
You can pretty much rely on Passan.
You got 24 hours.
He's pretty good at that.
So he could still be going somewhere. But as of that game, he was not pulled to be traded.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So the Mariners, in case you're just tuning in, they make a move, acquire an arm for the bullpen, a reliever out of Pittsburgh, from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Caleb Ferguson. Now will be part of the proceedings for the Mariners moving forward. And again, assuming they're not done, hoping they are not done. Hopefully there's going to be some more offensive help. We'll find out. But let's take two.
Jay Glazer, the first to report earlier today, the Seahawks have given Jon Schneider a contract extension through the 2030 draft. So not the exact same timeline as a coaching contract. So Mike Macdonald's contract runs through the end of the 2029-2030 season, but at least they are still lined up essentially the same years now.
When was Jon's contract set to expire? Was it?
I think it was after next year.
After next year?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
he's buying then, right? He's going to take us out to lunch or dinner or something?
Sure.
Happy meals for everybody? What's going on? No, good on him. That's great. That's great. He's done a great job with this franchise, and they're showing some faith in him. And this is a big year. I mean, they made some big moves, and they had to. Obviously, Gino telling them I don't want to be here, so they had to go out and see what they could do at that spot. But there's a lot on the line this year with this team, specifically on offense.
Well, and I like that, for a long time I thought ownership was sort of more keyed in with Pete. And, I think over the years and in that transition year that Jody Allen became kind of a Jon Schneider guy. And, I love that. And, he's done a great job. And, they were saying, this is the biggest drought of his career of not making the playoffs because, they've done such a great job with that. But, it's good to see that because that was kind of my worry is that, with Jon might go somewhere else or whatever just because, Jody Allen I thought maybe she was a little bit more in Pete's camp, but not the case.
We just discussed the news. The Mariners are finalizing a deal for Pirates reliever Caleb Ferguson. Elsewhere on the trade rumors, sounds like the Astros are trying to reunite with Carlos Correa. That was according to Bob Nightingale. Sides are not close right now. But one interesting note, the guys at Cespedes Barbecue, Jordan Schusterman and Jake Mintz, who are part of Yahoo Sports, they noted that since the addition of that third wildcard team, the vast majority of trades have happened on deadline day. So teams frantically going down to the last minute. So tomorrow seems like there should be a flurry of activity.
I would assume that because it's been sparse. I mean, the biggest deal in terms of name value has been the Mariners with Naylor.
All right.
So to this point, there's been tons of speculation about different names, different big names out there, and it hasn't happened. So, yeah, I anticipate that'll be accurate again, that maybe it'll start tonight. Maybe we're going to start hearing more moves trickle out, and maybe tomorrow's just going to be an absolute flurry of activity. That would be fun.
Yeah, well, a 6-game hitting streak for Carlos Correa, and, I was looking at Ryan McMahon. And that's the guy that was also on that list that we were talking about. Now he's the new third baseman for the Yankees. And he actually got there and was on fire in spite of his .218 average going into his first game with the Yankees.
Our coverage of Seahawks training camp is brought to you by The Landing in Renton. Coming up, and by the way, Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. The success of the O-line and the offense, more specifically, resting on the O-line shoulders, especially on one player in particular. We'll tell you who we're talking about. Coming up next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Now batting for the Mariners, first baseman Josh Naylor.
The first contender to make the big move that says, we're all in.
Going and goodbye baseball. Josh Naylor, yes indeed.
You're now looking at a 1 through 6 in your lineup that's deep. It's legitimate.
Just one more day till the trade deadline. The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports has you covered on 710 and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
It's time for your summer road trip service at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Before you hit the road, stop by and get your vehicle road trip ready with their incredible service departments, no appointment necessary. Now through July 31st, you can receive $100 off when purchasing 4 eligible tires. Whether you're in the north or the south, their expert technicians have you covered. Visit Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland today for your summer road trip service and drive into adventure with confidence. Offers valid through July 31st, 2025. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all 3 if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at PCF Construction. If you're seeking a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, maybe a new deck, patio cover, railings, well, my friends at PCF have you covered. This summer, well, you can enjoy 12 months of no interest and no payments. And how about this? Plus 50% off a design and architectural drawing package or up to $5,000 off an undercover system. If you're looking at your outside and saying, golly, what a beautiful summer in the Pacific Northwest, and we can't take advantage of it, well, take advantage of these offers today. If you've been wanting that new deck, that new patio cover, make the call. Get online right now and connect with my friends at PCF. You can find all the offer details. You can get project ideas, and you can browse photos at PCFgroup.com or call today at 425-629-8476. Don't let this offer pass you by. It's 425-629-8476.
10-time MLB All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove Award winner, MLB single-season hit leader, a one-of-a-kind player.
And there it is. He's a new all-time hit king in Major League history, number 258.
Head to T-Mobile Park in August as the Mariners celebrate Ichiro's induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. The festivities kick off with a 3-day Ichiro Hall of Fame Funko Pop giveaway Tuesday, August 5th through Thursday, August 7th. On Friday, August 8th, arrive early to score a 2004 Ichiro jersey like the one he wore when he broke the MLB single-season hit record. Saturday, August 9th will feature Ichiro's pregame number retirement ceremony, and the first 20,000 fans on Sunday the 10th will take home a replica of his Cooperstown plaque. It's going to be legendary.
On a tremendous throw by Ichiro. He threw something out of Star Wars.
Get your tickets at mariners.com/Ichiro.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. You guys can text in throughout the show, 866-979-3776. Weigh in on whatever you'd like. If you're just tuning in and missed the news, the Mariners make a move to acquire a bullpen arm. They get Caleb Ferguson from Pittsburgh, and we'll see. I don't know how many people out here are excited, have no idea who he is, I would say is probably more likely. I don't know how many people are out here watching the Pirates, who are a dreadful team, more importantly watching their bullpen. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do beyond this, because they did get the most premier bat at this point that's been moved. Right. And they pick up a bullpen arm, which they said was a goal. So 2 down, they've got more to go. But, they sent Jeter Martinez, which is a Mariners pitching prospect, to Pittsburgh. Martinez is a 19-year-old who was at Low A Modesto, ranked as Seattle's number 22 prospect per Baseball America. Mariners signed him for $600,000 back in 2023. So that's who they sent over to get Caleb Ferguson over here to Seattle. So a new arm in the bullpen for those of you just tuning in.
I don't think anybody can complain about what they've traded away. You know, I mean, it hasn't been anything that anyone, I mean, these are none of the names that we had talked about anyway. So, yeah, that's a good deal. And again, like we were talking about earlier, I can't wait to see what this guy's going to be, because their hit rate on pitching, particularly in the bullpen, is always very high.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're out here watching this team run through drills. It's a very light day, to say the least. No helmets, no pads. They're out there in baseball hats and shirts and shorts, just kind of doing a walkthrough out there. But we'll catch up with Boye Mafe once they wrap things up. But we talk about the O-line, Dave, and we talk about there being really just 2 spots up for grabs as we see it. Are we doing a disservice to Grey Zabel by just penciling him in as the starter and saying, all right, he's starting, he's going to be fine? It's center and it's right guard that we need to focus on.
Yeah, well, not a disservice to him, because he's like, oh, I'll take the starting job. That'll be fine. But like for fans, maybe. I mean, yeah, look, he's still a rookie. Every rookie I'm always very cautious about. But, you know, when we were looking at Troy Fautano, that would be my comp, or just from what I've seen. He was the UW guy that ended up getting drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. And there was something about how his balance and just how his lower half and his upper half almost moved independently. That's what I'm seeing from Grey Zabel. I mean, look, there hasn't been a ton of contact, but he looks like the kind of guy that's so balanced that, you know, on a pass rush move, if you try to bull rush him, he's going to absorb it. He's very, like I said, balanced that way. And then, you know, he's quick enough to get, you know, any kind of a swim move or rip move or anything like that. He just looks very balanced, and like his feet are always under him. He's got great feet. And so, yeah, I mean, everything that we've seen so far, we'll get a chance to look at the mock game on Saturday and hopefully see a little bit more action. But, yeah, I think so far, I don't think that he's done anything to not get that job. And also, you know, he's the 18th pick of the draft, and I'm sure they told him, look, you were brought in here to start.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would assume he feels a level of pressure, right? He's a rookie. He's trying to find his way through it. But he's also coming to a line that was ridiculed, which was rated extremely low, and he's looked at as a bit of a savior. Everybody was so excited to see a guard drafted with your first-round pick. So there's almost a weird expectation he's going to fix what was wrong with this line last year. And, you know, he's going to have rookie moments. You know, everyone does. So he's going to Probably have those moments where it looks like he's a turnstile and somebody blows right by him. He's going the wrong way. It's just you got to be ready for that. But I think there's an expectation. All right, they drafted a first-round guard, and that goes a long way, and it will go a long way ultimately into solving their problems. But I don't think he's the cure, so to speak.
Yeah, I think the cure is this system. And it making sense, and it, the progression off of one play to the next to the next. From what I understand, and I know that there was a lot of offensive linemen that weren't happy with this offense last year, and it was just like, okay, let's play this, call this play, and then let's call this play, and nothing sort of related. And then the other thing is, you have to be able to move the defensive line, and you have to be able to run the ball to set things up. And otherwise, you're setting it all up with a pass, and everybody knows a pass is coming. And that happened a lot. That happened a lot because they just had to ditch the run game. But, yeah, I just see Grey Zabel so far. Again, better look in the preseason games and all that, but he looks very balanced. He doesn't look lost. I've not one time seen him, either jump off sides or make a mistake or have a rookie moment. But I haven't watched every single snap, but he looks like a pro. And so, yeah, I think with the amount of trouble that you've had at your offensive line, you draft a guy in the first round, he's going to start.
Yeah, he was speaking with the media yesterday after practice, and he was talking about the bond he started to develop with the guy that'll be right next to him, presumably if he starts, which would be Charles Cross.
Can't even put into words how much, a guy like Charles Cross has helped me so far. He seems like a big brother to me, kind of guiding me through the ranks and what to expect. And kind of tips and tricks and all that stuff. So, and it goes all the way across the board from Olu, Jalen. So I'm pretty fortunate to be in the offensive line room that I am in.
Yeah, kind of thinking back to Hutch and Walter Jones. Now, that's a long ways away. We got a couple of Hall of Famers there, but yeah, if those two can work together well and just get something at center, and we always talk about how Ray Roberts brings it up, the guard can sometimes help out the center. The only problem is that I think Grey Zabel, I think he's going to play well, but in order to do that, he's probably not going to be reaching out and helping other guys, you know what I mean? He's
worried about his job.
Exactly. So, yeah, and if I'm him, I'm like, okay, well, I'm a rookie. I got to get this down. So maybe you don't get that much of an effect, helping the center out. So, yeah, the other two guys have to be a big part of it. But I like that he has that, sort of solid feeling from Cross that, he knows he can rely on him and give him a lot of tips and things like that. I like listening to the fact that they're communicating a lot. The other thing, last year at this time, I don't know if was Connor Williams here yet? I think it was later in camp.
But, yeah, I feel like he got here later.
Yeah, that was a guy that didn't really communicate to anybody.
No.
And then,
on or off the field.
Right. And then the other thing is you look at the coaches and, like I said, it just wasn't offensive line friendly play calls.
Yeah. One more here from Grey Zabel. He was just talking about what he's learned from the O-line coach, John Benton, to this point.
Tough love type coach. He's going to coach you up. And every single question I have, he answers. And I feel like sometimes he can see my kind of wheels turning up in my head thinking about a certain play, and he just answers it for me. So that just is a testament to what type of coach he is and can understand all the players.
Yeah, I saw him today walking out, and he walked past me and he gave me a dirty look. John Benton did. So I was like, I like this guy. That's what you want your offensive line to be, grumpy. Yeah. Offensive line coach.
You feel like everybody gives you a dirty look.
Well, maybe I'm giving them a dirty look. That might be the problem.
Well, you got to wear that shirt that your mom gave you.
Oh, this is just my face?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not angry. This is just my face. But John Benton needs one of those.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. But no, I like the fact that he's already, on top of, he sees what Grey Zabel's going through and able to kind of predict almost what's going on there, what's the problem. So, yeah, look, this is all for a lot of fans, it's going to have to be sort of, you have to rely on the good faith of these guys and their track record and coaching together and everything. But, you do have a rookie there either way. So, to your point, I I expect him to have a really good year, but if he doesn't, you can understand where he might have a few rookie moments.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the Seahawks host the Chiefs on Friday, August 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. It's completely free. You can enter every day to increase your chances to win. The contest runs through Monday, August 4th. So if you want to go see the Chiefs and some preseason football out here, get on it. Totally free. Meanwhile, the Mariners made a roster move earlier today, but what does it mean for their lineup? We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob, live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center at Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music of the year.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with 0 investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. We've been fortunate to work with over 4,000 local people and help them hit some pretty amazing weight loss goals. I'm joined by 2 of them right now, Mike Salk and Ryan Rowland-Smith. Ryan, every time I see you on TV, I'm even more proud of all you've accomplished on the plan.
I'm so happy. For years, I've been trying to find a consistent plan that delivered results with my busy family and work schedule. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic not only delivered, but it was an absolute breeze. It was so enjoyable because the plan wasn't hard. I was able to eat delicious food, and I literally lost weight every single day.
Eastside Weight Loss Clinic works so well for me. I'm happy to hear more people are using it to lose weight and prioritize their health as well. It's an awesome plan. Schedule a free 50-minute consultation today. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
No surgery, no exercise, no packaged meals, no drugs or injections. Just delicious food and a plan that works. Schedule a free 15-minute consultation today at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Seattle Sports is giving you a shot at winning 4 tickets to see the Seattle Seahawks host the Kansas City Chiefs on August 15th. Just open the Seattle Sports app, tap the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. Enter daily from July 30th through August 4th. Full details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. From the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app. The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snare that short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Get in the game at Hoops on the Pier. Friends of Waterfront Park and Rise Above are hosting a 2-day youth basketball camp at Pier 62 for ages 6 to 16. It's free, it's fun, and it's right on the water. July 31st and August 1st. Plus, open courts during the afternoons. Open to all ages and abilities. Don't have a basketball? No worries. We have a ball for you. Live out your hoops dreams on the waterfront. More info at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
Summer can be the best time of the year, but if it's not feeling good in your house, if it's turning into an oven, some of the problems might be because you don't have enough insulation in your crawl space or attic. In fact, many homes in our region have damaged insulation or even none at all. Yeah, it's Mike Salk here, and you got to get somebody to check on it. That's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and do a full corner-to-corner inspection of your crawl space and attic. And if it turns out that you've got a problem with your insulation, and maybe that's leading to bigger energy bills, guess what? Local utility companies have special incentives to help with the cost of getting your house properly insulated. In fact, if you're a PSC customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to get your attic properly insulated. Yep, 95%. Call Crawl Pros if you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic. Schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletics Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Feel free to weigh in on whatever you'd like. Voice your complaints about whatever you're not hearing in the particular moment you flip the radio on. Whatever you got. Whatever you got, we're here for you. We're a sounding board. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour, if you missed this part, Boye Mafe will join us once they wrap things up on the field for the day. Again, a very light day out here, which means maybe the damage to the chair won't be so significant.
You won't be as sweaty, huh?
There won't be as much booty juice on there.
This is a permanent outside chair, so that can get sweated on.
Okay.
It was the indoor chair yesterday.
The cushiony one that soaks it up like a sponge.
How did you describe it, like Bub said?
Booty juice. Yeah.
Please don't use that phrase again.
I've thankfully forgotten that term right now.
Blame Bump. He's the one that put it into my head. I didn't create it. But
you didn't have to repeat it.
It seemed kind of necessary. I don't know. But we'll talk to Boye Mafe once they wrap up for the day. Meanwhile, the Mariners did make a move. They acquire Caleb Ferguson from the Pittsburgh Pirates. In case you guys missed that bit of news, reliever coming out of Pittsburgh. So the arm they've been looking for in the bullpen. We'll see if they add any more in the way of relief pitching. We know they wanted potentially 2 arms in the bullpen. So we'll see what happens between now and the trade deadline, which, by the way, in case you don't know, is 3 p.m. tomorrow. 3 p.m. tomorrow is the official trade deadline for Major League Baseball. Meanwhile, they did make a move. They recalled Tyler Locklear from AAA, where he was just killing it. Just crushing down there. They put Luke Raley on the IL today with a back issue.
And he wasn't really working out, but Tyler Locklear, man, and I'm sure you looked at his number. I mean, he's played the most number of games down in Tacoma, 98, 373 at-bats, most at-bats. He's got 118 hits, which is the most, and he's got 19 home runs, which is the most down there. Hitting .316 right now. He's got 18 stolen bases. So, yeah, I mean, 95 RBIs, that's the most. So, I mean, he's killing it. He's doing everything he should, right, in Tacoma. So, but, I mean, he's a first baseman, so I think everybody's like, well, where do we need the help? Not necessarily there, but, it's nice to see and just find a way to get him into the lineup.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how they do it. You know, what are they going to do? Because you did just pick up Naylor, obviously, who is your presumably your everyday first baseman. Where are Locklear's turns going to come from? Right. Are they going to I was thinking about it last night. Like, all right, are they going to sit Cole Young more and leave Polanco at second, and then maybe Locklear becomes more of a regular DH? Maybe they work him in there. I know he's played third base before. I don't know if they'd put him over there. I don't know how the last time he's played third or how confident he is over there, if they'd want to try to mix him in with Williamson. But there's not the obvious path for him. So I'm trying to, just looking at the way the roster is now, and look, by this time tomorrow, maybe they've made some moves where it goes, oh, well, now it makes sense. Yeah. Now this is how this works. But as we're looking at it right now, I was thinking, all right, well, maybe Cole Young's turns are going to be limited, and it's going to be Polanco at second much more often, and then the DH spot will be occupied by Locklear, at least to get him his turns. I'm assuming they didn't bring him up here to sit, so they're going to get him in the lineup somehow. We'll see how that goes. But
yeah, I mean, I wonder if you're a fan. Text in 866-979-3776. I mean, we're talking about what can they do to get offense going, and the fact that Locklear has had so much success down there. I mean, he is redundant, right? Because you have Naylor at first base, but just trying to get another bat up there and get him some at-bats and see if that's going to translate to the next level, because he was killing it down there.
Yeah, he was. You saw him for a brief spell here before. It didn't, he was a bit overmatched, and presumably he's worked on whatever they told him to go work on, and whatever was giving him trouble at this level. He's certainly making a count down there. Hopefully, you always fear the Vogelback effect, the guy that goes down in the minor leagues and just rakes, and then comes up to the big leagues and just is not that guy. He's the prototypical 4A player, if you will. Yeah. I'm not saying that's who he is, but you always fear that when you see somebody just come up here, they struggle, and they go down there and they just flip a switch and they're just killing. Yeah. They're just killing it down there. So we'll see. I mean, he's a young guy, so I'm not putting that on him, and I'm just eager to see how Dan is going to manipulate the lineup to get him some turns in there, because he does have power. He does have that potential to provide some damage that you're missing right now. And how they do it, they're going to have to get creative.
Who was it that just was down at AAA that got sent down and just wasn't responding, wasn't hitting? I'm trying to remember someone.
This year?
Yeah. It was somebody that, just they went down and were trying to get him repaired and just didn't work out. I'm trying to remember.
You remember Lefko?
Might have been
I don't know. I can think of pitchers. I mean, we were just talking about Hancock, who's had a brutal July.
Mike's giving me that look that says, I think Dave just made a guy up.
I think you're just making up facts.
Yeah.
These are alternative facts.
Yeah, but I'm trying to rack my brain through all the random people that have gone up and down on the roster.
There haven't been a lot of offensive players, though.
Some random outfielders.
But,
Ryland Thomas.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, obviously, this doesn't guarantee that that's
you talking about Leo Rivas?
Is it Rivas?
Yeah.
I don't think that's who you're thinking of.
That's the only infield bat I can think of.
Last year, right?
Oh. Last year?
I think you're just making it up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You just created a guy.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't. And the point is that Locklear. I mean, he's crushing it down there, but no guarantee that it's going to be that same way on at this level.
People are texting in. Evan White? No. Dave's talking about this year, right? Weren't you referring to this year?
Maybe it was last year.
No.
Yeah.
No, still wouldn't have been Evan White.
So. Okay.
Nope, still wouldn't have been Evan White.
Somebody said, don't forget about Victor Robles. He's on his way back. I want Victor back in a very big way, but I am not counting on his return, and I'm certainly not counting on him hitting the ground running. And that's more about being fair to him with expectations. I mean, he barely got started on the season. He's been out the entire year. And what were they? I mean, they were talking about September. You're talking about a precious few games left at that point. Hopefully, if he's back, he has time to work his way into it, and they're headed to the postseason where he's finding his rhythm. But I'm not pinning any expectations to Robles. If he comes back and has an impact, that's gravy.
I haven't thought about him a lot just because once saw the injury, and then we saw him in that big get up that he had with his arm out in front of him, and it was like that was a pretty brutal injury, man. The guy.
Yeah.
And you gotta love the fact that he just went flying head first in there. But it's what if Wednesday. I mean, You ever think about what if that guy was still your leadoff batter? And
I think it'd go a long way into helping. The guy was a spark.
Yeah.
He was a spark on the base paths. He brought an edge, brings an attitude. So, yeah.
He's one of those kind of twitchy guys at the plate, kind of like Jacob Wilson with the A's, who's hurt right now. But, that it's just kind of, I don't know, there's just something different about him. I think he's annoying to pitchers. And, and he's a great outfielder. And, yeah, I miss that guy, and every once in a while I think, but I don't expect anything from him this year based on seeing what he went through.
Yeah. Text coming in. We don't care about baseball. I've been watching for 30 minutes. It's been baseball at Seahawks camp in capital letters. I guess I did ask for their complaints. So we've actually in this first hour hit kind of all of it. We've hit Seahawks. We've hit Mariners. Well, we're going to continue to do that. We're gonna dip our toe into both pools there.
Well, you just have to listen a little bit longer. Your attention span has to be longer than like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah. Then we had somebody else complaining, saying they just made a trade. You guys haven't even mentioned it. Unreal. Like, well, we actually did talk about it. You missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Look, it all gets covered. We're going to hit it all. So, yes, we will talk Mariners out here at Seahawks camp. We'll talk Seahawks out here at Seahawks camp. So that's what's going on. We're going to talk to Boye Mafe when they wrap this up. So make sure you stay tuned for that. The text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. But a lot of interest around the Seahawks edge rushers this season. And we'll, as I said, get a chance to catch up with one of them. Boye Mafe will join us as soon as they wrap up for the day as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It is Wyman and Bob Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music of the year.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
The Davis Law Group Charity Golf Tournament heads to the Prospector Course in Suncadia on August 20th. Proceeds benefit Life Support I-90, funding life-saving training and equipment for the first responders on call every day, covering the thousands of travelers heading over the I-90 corridor east of Snoqualmie Pass through Cle Elum and the surrounding areas. Tee times and sponsor packages are limited, so sign up today at dlggolf.com. That's dlggolf.com, because the life you save could be your own.
Bum here, letting you know West Hills Ford, the Big Four store, is celebrating the Ford Summer Sales event with incredible offers, like the 2024 Ford F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive available now through August 1st with $14,982 off MSRP for qualified buyers. West Hills Ford, the Big Four store, just off the Auto Center Way exit, Highway 3, Bremerton, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it!
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where did I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
GNC knows that you're not always feeling it at the gym, but don't get down, get lit, and get more out of every workout. Beyond Raw Lit is a clinically dosed pre-workout that flips the switch and gives you more energy, focus, intensity, and pumps. The perfect combo for a killer workout. Plus, it's got incredible flavors and thousands of 5-star reviews, so you know it's good. Pick it up at GNC stores or go to GNC.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners trying to get back into the win column after a very disappointing game last night in Sacramento, dropping the second game of the 3-game series to the A's, but they do have a chance to take the series when they send Brian Wu to the hill in Game 2. You can catch it all right here starting at 6 p.m. with the pregame show, 7:05 first pitch. Other games going on. Keeping an eye on a handful of teams that are surrounding the Mariners, whether it's in their division or for that wild card spot. This didn't help. The Red Sox crushed the Twins 13-1. You also had the Astros winning today 9-1. They beat the Nationals. Other games going on, or other finals on the day. Cubs beat the Brewers 10-3. It was the Royals 1-0 in 10 innings over the Braves. The Diamondbacks fall to the Tigers 7-2, and it was the Blue Jays over the Orioles 9-8.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are live at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. We'll catch up with Boye Mafe later on in the program, but we got a big guest here right now sitting in front of us. For those of you watching on the video stream, you hear him on our show each and every year. He spends a few weeks with us talking about prepping for the draft and all that good stuff, and fans can't get enough of the one, the only Jon Schneider.
Big guest. I'm feeling a little bit in the midsection, feeling a bit
You actually
big,
look like you've trimmed down. Have you lost weight?
Thanks. I appreciate you saying that. No, I have not.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a slimming
A
shirt.
good friend of mine, James Camp, and I think I've told you guys before. This is like he always says, "Hey, good to see you, man. Have you gained weight?" And everybody's like, "Wow, you look great. You gained weight lately."
I think that shirt is slimming.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going on. So
appreciate it.
The big news is you signed a brand new contract, or I guess it's not a new, it's an extension. I guess. Yep. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
very
awesome.
Blessed, very grateful for Jody and the trust that she's put in myself and Coach Mike, and yeah, excited to keep rocking this thing.
Yeah, we could kind of see, I remember you talking a little bit about Jody Allen and how, she's really a football person, and then how you guys interacted during the draft and everything, and it just looked like a very cool relationship. Kind of tell us how your football relationship has developed.
Yeah, so she's big fan, obviously, and I got to know her, when Paul was still with us on the periphery a little bit, but that's how I got to know. Like, she loves the game, huge fan, but she's so intelligent and strong leader, tough. I have 4 older sisters, so I always tell her, like, look, I get it. Like, I can take your heat. Like, you can give it to me, and
I'm not going to see anything new from you.
So, but she just loves the team so much. She loves the community, and obviously she loves the team, and it's a blast having her in the draft room and having her. You just see all the scouts and have her interact with everybody, and everybody loves having her around.
How much do you look forward to this time of year? Because I feel like you're working year round, and I know you do get a little time off.
Yeah.
But are you somebody who looks like this, like I can't wait, or are you somebody that's going, wow, this is already here? Jeez.
Yeah, I'm excited for it to get here, but I'm a little bit of a worrier at heart. So, everybody's all excited for the first day of pads, and I just always worry about the guys so much,
So you're not excited about the hitting?
You want to see good work and all that, but you'd rather see them, do it to a different team. Unfortunately, we lost, great person and great competitor in Kenny McIntosh the other day. So it's part of the game, the injuries and everything. So I'm excited to get back in the building, working with everybody, seeing the guys again, and watching the coaches teach and interact with all the guys and everything. But I always kind of have a pit in my stomach because I don't want the guys getting hurt.
Yeah, that's the tough part, and it's just such a shame, especially for Kenny Mack. And I was talking to KP, his running back coach, about how well he fits into this and everything. But as far as what you've seen second year for Mike, and I always talk about my rookie year and the jump I made in the second year, kind of the same thing for Mike being here, right? Like, there was lots of things that were just hitting him in the face, and he's probably going, I got to do another media thing? You got to be kidding me. But yeah, I mean, as far as what he's going through, and tell us what you've seen.
So, I think I've told you guys this before, but when Pete and I got together, we had talked about, to Pete's credit, it was like, hey, this strong marriage, like we were gonna put our egos aside. We're gonna have the strongest head coach, general manager marriage in the league. We had both been fired, and we knew what it looked like for little kind of BS power grabs and that sort of thing, and it doesn't work. It can, but it's not. It doesn't create a real fun culture, right? And so with Mike, it's really that same thing where we're really focused on that marriage aspect and working together every day, and how are we evolving and getting better and moving the club forward, and just being. He talks about chasing edges, but being in the forefront of what's coming, and how are we anticipating things. And so I think he's just so much more comfortable now, hiring all these coaches, going through an offensive coaching change, knowing, having that time to know exactly what he was looking for with Clint and the offensive staff, and having the strength of the teachers on the other side of the ball. And then, he has that natural defensive intelligence mindset that the defensive guys love. And quite honestly, last year, some of the offensive guys wanted him more too, right? So I think he's just getting in that flow of being able to, work both sides more, and it's cool to see, and just naturally more comfortable in the meetings in front of all the guys, and Yeah.
Where's your level of optimism with this year's team compared to last year? Last year, everything was new coach. Everything was kind of rushed. Felt like you were cramming for a test almost.
It did. You're right.
So, Dave and I always talk about the national voices and the odds in Vegas saying the Seahawks are, over under 7.5 wins. And he and I are looking at it going, what, are we drinking the Kool-Aid? Or we're looking at this
last year too, though, right?
Yeah, I think it was 6.5 last year. So I don't even know if you pay attention to that. But do you feel like you're more optimistic? I know there's a lot of change on the offensive side, but where's your optimism compared to last year?
Yeah, naturally more optimistic, just based on the cohesiveness. and leadership, right? The football leadership on the coaching side, where you have a first last year. It's like, okay, you have this awesome, tough, incredibly smart first-time head coach. Okay, what kind of staff is, how can we help him put a cool staff together? What kind of staff is he going to put together? And Mike McCarthy and I talk about this often, like, especially last year when he was going through everything he was going through. Is like, you're the first time you hire a staff, like, no matter where you are, like what you're doing, what industry you're in, you're not just gonna nail it, So give yourself some grace and be able to, understand what's going on and understand what you want, and then be able to move forward. I'm more excited on that front, just because I feel like it's just like more of a well-oiled machine. Now, do we have a lot of work to do? Things we need to keep fixing and try to work on. But we're constantly doing that anyway. So, but yeah, I'm very excited.
I know it's been a short time since the news was announced, but only Mickey Loomis, Duke Tobin, and Jerry Jones have a longer tenure than you do right now that are in the NFL. And do you look back on it? I mean, did you get a chance to kind of reflect on that first year? I remember in 2010 when you first got here, you brought Warren Moon in to talk to all the scouts and everything, and
went Tommy Boy on,
and you asked him, "Do you remember when you went?" Yeah. But I mean, it's been a great journey, man. There's, like I said, only 3 guys that have longer tenure, man.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Going through this. This negotiation, I just, in the back of my head, I kept thinking, man, what an awesome deal if Tracy and I could be here. We've been able to raise our kids here, and to be able to draft, 20 times for a team, possibly, right? And yeah, I mean, it's just I'm on a chain. I'm on a text chain with my college buddy. I live with like 10 guys in this house for 2 years, and they're like, "There's no way, man!" Like,
good friends.
Yeah, what are they crazy? What are they crazy? But those, give each other crud texts and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a big blessing. It's like, just treat people the way you want to be treated, and be yourself, and good things will happen.
What do you think you do better now, or where do you think you've improved most from when you first got into this building versus who you are now as a GM, whether it's talent evaluation or whether it's relation? What do you look at now and go, man, it's a 180?
Yeah, I would say, probably the conflict management, being able to, have more direct conversations, and just, it takes time. You just have to, feel more comfortable with it, and like, hey, this isn't going to work out, or we need to fix this, or we can't conduct ourselves in this manner, I think just probably those just the direct communication, and not trying to dance around things, or there's just always a way to present things and be empathetic to the players and or staff or whatever's going on. But at the end of the day, the thing that we always have to remember is like, we always have to do what's best for the organization, just period, point blank, and that's how we roll.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. That's the way I would describe Mike McDonald, and I can see where you guys get along, because you have to have direct conversations, but you got to keep your feelings out of it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get in your feelings.
Right.
So
no, exactly. And yeah, you guys don't. You may not see it as much as as you did with Pete, but you will. As Mike gets more comfortable, being a head coach too. But Pete and I, we could give each other crud and then laugh our tails off. And Mike's the same way. He's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Very dry sense of humor. So he can be really serious, and then he can be, in like very like, just like jovial fun, and have a blast with it.
Yeah. We saw you high-fiving each other when you made a joke when we had you in there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dave and I are
that picture.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah.
Dave and I are looking at each other going,
Lane.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But
What are they laughing at?
Joey Lane.
Yeah, Dave and I were lost, but that's okay. It happens. Hey,
good one.
You
guys don't sound lost on the radio at all when I get in the car.
Oh, we're on point then.
I love listening to Dave talk about the Mariners. It's like, really?
Wow.
Wow. I didn't know he was going to come in here and blow me up.
You sound like one of our texters, man.
No, like one time he comes with me and goes, man, how do you know all that stuff about the Mariners? I'm like, well, I read it off of a screen. Yeah, that's how we do it.
That was a tennis match this weekend, Dave.
I like listening to Dave try to talk about the Mariners. Hey, you guys, you made a roster move with Noah Fant that, we were talking way before the draft, looking at salaries going, all right, this guy's probably a restructure candidate. This guy might not make it. And looking at that, he was a guy I thought in the beginning was going to be somebody addressed just based on the size of his contract. Then draft went by, everything went by, and I was like, okay, I guess he's part of the plan. What changed beyond after the draft? Was it just the comfort with Arroyo and what you guys have here, and it just was it redundancy, or what happened with that?
Yeah, we tried to make things work. We just got to a point where we thought, you know what, like, okay, look, Noah's awesome. He works his tail off. He can run. He's a good tight end, and he'll have a very nice productive year this year. We just felt like in getting back to what I was saying about doing what's best for the organization, we were at a point where we're just saying to ourselves, okay, could we, unfortunately you have to look at things like this, like can we use that cash to help our team in a different manner? Mm-hmm. And are we okay at that position, and are we covered there? And while we never feel like we're totally covered, guys did have very strong springs, and Robbie Oots fits into that too, and so we're going to be dressing the fullback too, and then we got Salbert, and those guys are good special teams players, and yeah, it was just the numbers, and then you can't we've put guys on the field in the past that have unfortunately been injured, and then now they're counting on your cap at a specific number that you can't handle, and look, our coaches love Noah. We told Noah that, told his agent that. It's just this was a pure cap casualty, situation for us.
It's probably asking you to name your favorite child, but like as far as the young guys that you've seen out here, who has really kind of stood out in a surprising way as far as your young guys you brought in? Maybe
I would say, I don't know. Okay, I would say, I think AJ Barner in his second year. I don't know if Jay Harbaugh was bragging about I spent the year with him about his intensity and leadership and all that, and he was so respectful in the interview process. I don't know if I saw the juice and the leadership stuff. Okay. Other people did, I'm sure, but I didn't realize he was as juicy as he is and tough and swaggy. And so I think that's really cool to see his. I know we were just talking about the tight end position, but he's really stood out as a guy that you could see taking a step forward. As a leader in a second year, which as you guys well know is rare.
Yeah. Juicy and swaggy are good, Dave.
I like that. Things. Never described me that way.
Sure. Don't sell yourself short, Judge.
So how much do you put into when you watch this out here? Has that changed for you over the years? Like maybe you reacted to what you saw, good or bad, like, oh, so-and-so had a great day, or, oh, so-and-so struggled. Now, do you kind of keep it more in perspective now versus when you first?
No, it's all about watching the film. So it's all about being able to sit down and just be able to study on your own and see what happened. So
you're
to your point, you can rush to judgment out here. Say this guy had a good day or a bad day, and get upstairs and start studying and be like, wow, that's not true. You had a nice day. It's just to say it's the same thing with games. When we watch a game live too, a guy might have a false start, or he might jump off sides or whatever, miss a tackle, and you kind of rush to judgment. And then you go back and you're like, well, that's really the only poor thing he did all day. Like this guy's he was balling out today, so and then you're always watching the effort too, and who's running on the ball, who's not, who's taking to the coaching and who's not is really what's important out here, how the coaches are affecting the players.
Talk about how things have changed in players over the years. Because, one of the things that I thought was so cool you told us with, like, the NIL, at least you know who loves football, because those guys are getting money in college. So, but it just seems like, a lot of people thought it would go the other way, that it would send guys, up away from football, or they wouldn't be as good high-character guys. And you've got a group of especially the rookies that are just high-character guys, right?
Yeah, the way it's changed, it's interesting. when I started in Green Bay, so it was like 92, 93, hanging out at the bars and, seeing all our offensive linemen out during training camp and stuff like, oh man, we'd worry about the offensive linemen all hanging together, and then getting their cars and driving from, west of Pier downtown in Green Bay to hit the other different bars. Yeah. And then, so I guess my point is that the guys, they don't spend as much time together as they used to. And they're so, I was talking to Mike Robbins, Mike Robbins doing the internship with us right now. It's awesome. But Mike and I were talking about it yesterday. They're so, when he was at Penn State, Joe Paterno wanted the guys to be students. Now, we have our laptops and our iPads and they're at the facilities all day and you can zoom into your class and, their days are so regimented. It's just they come into, they're more ready for the pros and they're more ready for a scheduled day. But that being said, they're pretty much fried and they want to go home and chill and play video games or whatever. And they don't go out and party like you guys do. I'm not saying yourself. Exactly.
Yeah, I of course wouldn't do that.
Yeah. No.
Dave was right back home, sleep, nutrition. It was all about that.
Yeah, I remember seeing Mark Chmura and Frank Winters and Brett Favre out, and I'm thinking to myself, we're not going to win any games. We end up winning a world championship with these dudes.
Hey, game number 1 of the preseason, the Raiders come to town.
Yeah, crazy.
Do you look forward to that? I mean, it's Pete, it's Geno, it's Jamal Adams. It's kind of a reunion.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great to just to see another team is always exciting. So we're going to be able to see. We're going to go to Green Bay too and spend time with those guys, so be able to see some family there. But it's always great, when you're spending so much time, just evaluating your team, to be able to see, when we went to Nashville last year, it's great to be able to spend time looking at another team and see how they compare to your guys and start that evaluation process of. What the cutdowns are going to look like at 53 and how are we going to be able to help our team throughout the landscape of the whole there's 4 quarters of the season. And so being able to see some of the younger guys and what they look like in the draft process and how they've matured and improved, I think that's always really exciting. And then obviously it'd be awesome. I mean, I can't wait for Pete to walk into that stadium, man. That's going to be outstanding.
Yeah. Hey, is it a pretty tight group with GMs? I mean, there's 31 other GMs. Who are the guys?
It's getting less and less tight. You just mentioned there's only a couple guys. It's not like I hang out with Jerry Jones,
Yeah, Jerry Jones.
You and Jerry rip it up.
Mickey and I are cool. I've known Duke for a long time. I would say
you got Dan Morgan.
Dan. Jason Light, Howie, John Lynch and I are real tight. There's a group of guys that you stay in close contact with. I was real close with Steve Keim, and now he's running the Clutch agency as a GM there. They had Jalen Milroe and they have Cross now. So I mean it is. But it's fun having guys reach out today and
you got
just
text
say,
from,
hey, congratulations,
from
and it's fun.
Cool. Well, let's get into the other side. Who are the guys you don't like? Who are the jerks?
Well, I'll tell you what. The top of the list is
us two. You and me.
No, I'm talking other GMs. We already know about us. Yeah. No, it's. Congrats, you deserve it, man.
I appreciate it.
It's well deserved, and I think everybody's excited about it. You look slimmer to me. I don't know what's going on. I think it's the shirt. I'm just saying.
No, I appreciate
Did you get some new ink, by the way? Since last we saw, I feel like you got more.
Maybe a little
bit
up here.
Yeah. Look at John. I think it's your turn, Dave. You got to get your first tattoo.
I don't think it'd be a good look for me. Not a good look for me.
It was fun to have an impromptu John Schneider show here.
I love it.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
We need free pizzas with this one?
Yeah, not provided by us. We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot.
John. There you go.
Have a great evening.
There you go. GM of your Seattle Seahawks, Jon Schneider, and fresh off of a brand new contract, well deserved. We're going to come back, talk more about that. Talk about one veteran on the Seahawks defense weighing in on what he's seen from a key position group on the Seahawks offense. That's coming up as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center at Seattle Sports on 710.
Now batting for the Mariners, first baseman Josh Naylor.
The first contender to make the big move that says, We're all in.
Going and goodbye baseball. Josh Naylor, yes indeed.
You're now looking at a 1 through 6 in your lineup that's deep. It's legitimate.
Just one more day till the trade deadline. The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports has you covered on 710 and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. And when you hear Harley Exteriors, think windows, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest climate. And Olympic Series windows, they're offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors. And this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window. And these windows last up to 60 years. And they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They also come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your home's resale value. And it's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest, up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And in July, it's July 30th, so you better hurry up. In July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your project. So think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, that's 833-HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at PCF Construction. If you're seeking a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, maybe a new deck, patio cover, railings, well, my friends at PCF have you covered. This summer, well, you can enjoy 12 months of no interest and no payments. And how about this? Plus 50% off a design and architectural drawing package, or up to $5,000 off an undercover system. If you're looking at your outside and saying, golly, what a beautiful summer in the Pacific Northwest, and we can't take advantage of it, well, take advantage of these offers today. If you've been wanting that new deck, that new patio cover, make the call. Get online right now and connect with my friends at PCF. You can find all the offer details. You can get project ideas, and you can browse photos at PCFgroup.com or call today at 425-629-8476. Don't let this offer pass you by. It's 425-629-8476.
Motorcycle accident cases require a thorough investigation by a team of experienced legal professionals if they have any chance of being successful. Insurance companies, juries, and even the police tend to assume the worst about motorcycle riders. Get help from an experienced team of attorneys that have successfully resolved hundreds of motorcycle accident cases over the past 30 years. Call Davis Law Group for a free legal consultation or get my free book on motorcycle accidents at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletics Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. You guys can text in throughout the show at 866-979-3776. Our thanks to Seahawks GM Jon Schneider, who joined us in the last segment for an impromptu edition of the Jon Schneider Show. Spent a good 20 minutes with Jon, so that was a fun conversation on the heels of him signing a new extension with the team that takes him through 2030 draft, right? Levco, not the season, but the draft.
Yeah.
So almost lining up with Coach McDonald's contract. So if you guys missed that conversation, it will be on the podcast page for you after the show at seattlesports.com. But good to catch up with Jon.
What a traitor.
And what's that?
He's a traitor.
Why's that?
Oh, because he's always coming up and going, man, how do you know all this stuff about Mariner baseball? And I'm like, well, Jon, I watch every game. I watch games, and we've been talking about it for 15 years. And then he gets out there and goes, oh, listen to Wyman talk about the Mariners.
I know.
Like, thanks, buddy.
He sounded like one of our texters.
I know. That's exactly what he sounded like.
Just threw you under the bus.
Maybe he is the one texting. I'll have to check his number.
He threw you under the table, Dave.
No, that was cool to hear about, just like I said, 3 guys that have a longer tenure than him. And, just some of the guys that he trusts around the league and everything. And I'm sure he's not going to talk about the ones he doesn't, but liked hearing that about A.J. Barner, because that's a player I've really loved since last year, and I hope he takes that next big step as far as the second year. And just, it seems like things are going really well with McDonald, and he's starting to settle in. So good day for Jon, for sure.
And he said Barner was juicy and swaggy, which you love hearing that. Those are good things. So, great to catch up with Jon. And again, if you guys missed that, highly recommend you check it out on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, taking a look at what's going on with this team and taking a look at this wide receiver group, a lot of change there, obviously, with the departures of Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. You bring in Cooper Kupp, you bring in MVS. And Julian Love was talking about this and talking about JSN. And why, in his opinion, JSN is amongst the elite wide receivers in the league.
Definitely wouldn't categorize him as just a slot receiver. He's, I think, one of the best receivers in the league. I think he has every skill set that you need to be a top-end receiver in this league. Speed, route running, catch radius, yards after catch. Like, he has everything checked off. And so I can't speak high enough about Jax. He works hard. He gets after. He has a little chip on his shoulder. So I don't know. I hope he gets the recognition that is warranted this early in his career.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's 6 foot tall, 197 pounds. There's nothing like stands out about him physically, and yet you hear people talking about how he can run the slot, he can play outside, he could be the number one, he can run go routes, he can run inside routes. Remember last year they set up that little screen they had where he came across the middle of the field. They released their lineman. He's just got a great sense for the game, but he's not one of those guys that's like super flashy or anything. But and I would say flashy is like DK, right?
And it has that track speed.
Yeah, and but he does have speed. He can play either one, inside, out. So he's a very interesting player, and a guy that, remember I think it was the Rose Bowl, where he had like 300 yards in receiving or something like that. I mean, he's incredible. And then when you hear Julian Love talk about him and all the defensive backs and everything, just kind of brings it home. But yeah, everybody's talking about the new receivers, but JSN really he's just been a great draft pick at number 20?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great first round, Witherspoon and JSN. Man. I mean, you're talking about two guys who appear to be becoming pillars of this team on both sides of the ball. So huge first round there. And look, there's a lot more expectation placed on him this year. With Tyler gone and DK gone, there's a lot of eyes on JSN to be the leader. I know Cooper Kupp's more accomplished. He's been in the league certainly much longer and he's got the resume, but this is JSN's team. And I think there's going to be a lot of expectation. So it's going to be interesting to see how he responds to sort of, quote unquote, being the man out there. Julian Love also talking about Elijah Arroyo, a guy everybody that's seen him is very excited about his potential, and he talked about what he's seen from him so far.
Great switch up to I think what we've had here. He presents a good skill set of just kind of some receiver traits, mixing a tight end body. So it's exciting to get new looks, and I think he has a lot to learn and grow from. And I like Elijah. I think he's I said that Nick's incredibly humble, but Elijah he asks questions. He talks about even if after a play, I'm covering him, somebody's covering him, what the situation was, leverage-wise. He's just in tune with trying to figure out, being a pro. So I think the sky's the limit for him, and it's exciting to see him every day.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. John sort of mentioned that about the younger players and how that they're squared away. Like they come and they ask lots of questions. They're prepared and
they're not out partying.
Yeah, like we were back in the day. But man, it's pretty amazing looking at his skill set. Everybody talking about him running routes like a receiver. He's 255 pounds, and I think it might be more than that. He's listed at 6'5", 255 pounds. So what a
big dude,
dynamic weapon. And if they can teach him how to block, and really it's just about the willingness your first year. Probably wasn't asked to do that a lot.
Yeah,
right.
He's very lean looking. Like he's long. He doesn't look bulky. He looks like a big wide receiver to me. It kind of looks like DK. DK was obviously huge for a wide receiver, but he's just kind of put together that way. He looks very athletic, very cut. He's just, excited to see what he can do out there and how long. I mean, are you still of the belief that the offense is going to hit the ground running, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I will answer that question on Monday because we got the mock game over there on Saturday, and it's really hard to tell, and especially after a day like this.
Yeah, today there was nothing.
Really, they only had 2 padded practices, I think, where you could really tell anything there. So, yeah, I think after Saturday we'll have a better idea, but. Yeah, I mean, I just think it makes much more sense. There was kind of some question marks last year after watching some of the practice, and they were like, okay, well, let's just go with it, and we'll see how this offense goes. But now you can start to see how it's getting pieced together, and just all the coaching and teaching that's going on the field is, but maybe that doesn't translate to it. We'll see, but it's something I think they need to do if they're going to, because the other thing is the defense is going to help them out.
Yeah.
It's going to be really nice to have a defense like that because a lot of times the score dictates what you have to do offensively. And, some of the things aren't exactly, they're probably going to have to practice all those situational things, but, it's not like they're going to be chucking it down the field. It's going to be more of a run, play action, pass type of thing. So, and they'll try to get guys free deep, no question about that, but and especially with a guy like JSN, I mean, he's very deceiving. And, if you start pounding him and all of a sudden, throwing short routes, they might suck up a little bit. And then all of a sudden you got a guy like JSN that can get deep. But, yeah, I think the score is going to be really key for this offense. Your defense will pick up your offense.
Yeah, and I would imagine, their focus on the run game is going to take some pressure off of Darnold, JSN, MVS to have that rhythm right out of the gate. I mean, you want it. It's a part of the game. You're not going to be an exclusive run team. But the way it's being talked about and positioned, it feels like that is going to be a strong focus. We are going to run the ball, which if they have some success, that allows the timing of the passing game to develop, where it doesn't have to, all right, maybe game 1, game 2, it's not quite there yet, but hey, our running game is picking up the slack.
Yeah, no question. So that's something that a lot of teams that are successful offensively have, and they just did not have last year. And that was the thing, I think I realized in maybe game 4 or 5 that they're just going to have to desert the run game. And then, I thought at that point it's probably going to be hard for them to win double-digit games. Well, they did. Yeah. And a lot of that was because of their defense in that second half.
All right. Hey, we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the Seahawks play host to the Kansas City Chiefs on Friday, August 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We're going to send you a link to download it. It's completely free. You can enter every day to increase your chances to win. The contest runs through Monday, August 4th. Meanwhile, what if one minor detail had gone the Seahawks' way last season? How different would this year look? It's What If Wednesday. We're going to answer that question coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan with Brock and Salk.
Let's start with Josh Naylor. We haven't had a chance to talk to you since the Mariners made the deal.
I love the attitude. Josh Naylor is like the classic. You love him when he's your teammate. You might not when he's not. I like adding a little bit of attitude to this team. He just fits everything so perfectly. Fit a position of need at first base. Added another guy who has really good basketball skills.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Look outside. It's beautiful weather, summertime weather. That's motorcycle riding weather. I've been riding every single day out here to Seahawks training camp. I'll ride to work, ride it as much as I can. But with motorcycle riding comes a little bit more of a risk out there. And if you're somebody that's a rider that's been involved in a motorcycle accident, you've been injured, do not settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who actually live it. That's Law Tigers. They've been a part of the riding community for nearly a quarter century nationwide. They are there 24/7, 365 days a year. Why? Because riders deserve real support when they need it most. And Law Tigers is the resource that riders can turn to when they are in that kind of need. Now, you see them everywhere. You see the tents, you see the vans everywhere, the billboards. I mean, they're very present. And Law Tigers out at all the events, and they are always there by your side. And on top of that, should you find yourself in that position and you need to be in contact with them about an injury, your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. They don't get paid until you get paid. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone with them. They are Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I thought I'd book a trip to Italy to celebrate retiring.
We didn't speak Italian.
We didn't then. We do now. Because of Babbel.
Babbel is the refreshingly easy-to-use app for learning a new language. Babbel uses immersive lessons to teach you vocabulary and grammar in a way that sticks. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com. Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
What? It's time for What If Wednesday.
Coach would have put me in fourth quarter. We'd have been state champions, no doubt.
Wyman and Bob rewrite the scripts of major moves and moments in sports every Wednesday afternoon. Now step into an alternative reality with Wyman and Bob.
It is What If Wednesday, which is presented by Mazda of Everett. Today's big what if question is, what if the Seahawks had made the playoffs last season? Think that changes anything with the futures of Geno Smith and DK Metcalf?
Boy, that is a great what if. I guess to me, the first thing I thought is, would they have fired their offensive coordinator? I mean, let's say they made the playoff game and they get in that game and the offense is just horrible, just like it was, pretty much all year, and they couldn't do anything but pass the ball. I think they still would have probably made those cuts. And I would say this, it depends on how far they go in the playoffs, right? I mean, if they go in the Super Bowl, then nobody's going anywhere, right? So, yeah. But, if they somehow get in and get lucky or whatever. But Geno and DK seemed to want out. Yeah. They didn't, and really, I think it was, I wouldn't say Tyler Lockett wanted to be out, but I think his time here had come to an end.
We kind of knew that was the one we knew was going to happen. The DK and
more than Geno and DK,
the surprise.
Yeah, and then and then it all became very clear when we found out that Geno was talking to Pete Carroll all last year, and he's just a Pete guy. But DK, and that's a little bit of a surprise to me. And I always stood up for him just because I didn't think he was a bad guy. First of all, he comes from NFL lineage. His father played, his uncle played, and then, every time I talked to him, it was like, yes, sir. And, the play he made on Budda Baker, I mean, he didn't seem like a diva by any stretch. We never heard him complain about anything as far as the lack of targets or anything like that. And, I felt like he was a good guy and just, would fit in here. But turns out he just wasn't happy here. He didn't like the way things were going. And, hey, who knows? Maybe there's a Jaron Reed type of thing with him, because Jay Reed left here a while ago. He's back, you know, but long story short, but
he wasn't happy when he left.
He wasn't happy, and then he maybe saw the what it looks like on the outside and changed his mind. But maybe that's DK at some point. But apparently he wasn't happy after most years. I don't know about after his rookie year, but I just think other years there were times where he wanted out before we even knew that.
Yeah, and the same is true for Gino. And maybe there was some hard feelings over him not getting the contract he thought he should have received a year earlier. He had the sort of hold in, I guess, if you will, where he was here, but he wasn't practicing, and he was upset about his contract. And I don't know, maybe he made his mind up then, like, unless they blow my doors off with an offer, I want out. And we saw, you fast forward, the Seahawks wanted him here. They made him an offer to stay, and there wasn't even a counteroffer. They said, no, I think we'd like to take our talents elsewhere. Yeah. So,
but I can understand, like, I was part of one of those transitions, and I thought maybe I was destined for more years in the NFL than were reality. But yeah, I mean that's kind of how when I went. Wade Phillips was the head coach, and the whole organization, everything seemed to go a certain way. And then they hired Mike Shanahan, and I just wasn't part of it, and I wasn't part of the deal. I didn't feel like I was in, and I think that's probably the same thought on a much greater level. With DK and Gino and Tyler as well. They're just kind of like, you know what? I don't really want to be a part of this, and I want to go somewhere else and start over. And again, like with Gino, I think he would have taken less money, and I don't know if he ended up, whether they were going to counter him with some. They never even came back.
No,
with any kind of
there was
counter.
no counter offer.
Right. So I think he would have taken less, or maybe did end up taking less than coming back here. And I think it was more about the scenery change.
Yeah. So to answer that question, had they made the playoffs, assuming they made the playoffs, maybe they win the first game, they get knocked out in the next one. Does that change the future of those two? No, not in my opinion. It doesn't.
Especially not those two. But then, But you look at, do they fire the offensive coordinator?
No, I think your point is good. I mean, I guess it depends on if they got knocked out because they scored 3 points, right?
Yeah.
They lose 27-3 or something, the offense looks terrible, then it's probably the same ending for Grubb. But if they win a couple games and then they get knocked out and it's a back and forth affair and the offense is good, it's a shootout, who knows? Maybe that might be the better question. Does that alter his future a bit? But when it comes to Gino, when it comes to DK, I think it wasn't about, hey, I don't think I can win here, or I don't think this is a playoff team. I think it was it's not working for me here for whatever their reasons were.
I wonder if those two guys, it'll be interesting to see them in press conferences and just see if their demeanor changes a little bit. Maybe they're a little bit happier. I mean, Gino never seemed happy.
No.
And DK, he's always pretty serious. Like I said, he was always super respectful and, all that, but it's not like he was a jerk or anything. But.
Well, and I don't think a player wanting out makes them a jerk or a bad guy.
Not necessarily.
They've got their reasons. I don't know what their reasons were specifically, but if they just felt like, look, what's happening here doesn't work for me anymore, and I just feel like I'm better suited in a different situation. You're not a bad guy. I mean, as a fan, I know fans take that personally. You don't want to be here? Then get the hell out of here.
Right.
You're a bad guy. It's and I get it. Fans, this is your team, man, and you feel like everybody should love them as much as you do, especially the players that are on the team.
Yeah, especially in the case of Tyler Lockett, what you just said. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make him a bad guy at all, but I can totally understand him wanting to go somewhere else and start over just, at this point in his career.
And he knew it was coming based on his salary and where he's at in his career. He'll be a Ring of Honor guy, right? Tyler Lockett, he's the second best receiver statistically in the history of this organization.
Yeah.
So he was nothing but a credit to this organization and a model citizen as a player, and how he carried himself in public and on the field. I mean, so I've got no ill will. I was bummed to see him go just because he's been such a gem. He's a brilliant player on the field and just a brilliant human being. But, he's toward the end of his career, and he was making a lot of money, so you knew that wasn't going to hold.
Yeah. Well, and I would say I was in the same situation. I don't think I was a jerk. I wasn't, a problem player, but I did ask to be traded because, they had somebody else there. And I'm like, I think I can play somewhere in this league. How about, and then Shanahan just kind of ignored me. But like I said, I wasn't a bad guy or anything. I just was like, I think I can play, and I want to do. And for Tyler, it's like, hey, I want to be used differently. And then, he probably saw this, the writing was on the wall for whatever this offense is going to be, and like they have JSN, so yeah, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah. So and Tyler, I'll root for DK and Gino. Not if it impacts the Seahawks, but I hope they find their success, and and I'm certain Tyler will be honored here when his career is over, and it'll be well deserved. Meanwhile, there's a lot of maneuvering behind the scenes right now, but when will the Mariners make another trade? We're going to get into that conversation coming up next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Now batting for the Mariners, first baseman Josh Naylor.
The first contender to make the big move that says, we're all in.
Going and goodbye baseball. Josh Naylor, yes indeed.
You're now looking at a 1 through 6 in your lineup that's deep. It's legitimate.
Just one more day till the trade deadline. The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports has you covered on 710 and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
The 2025 Seahawks season is almost here. Get fitted for game days with jerseys, caps, and tees, including the 2025 training camp collection. Visit the Seahawks Pro Shop at the Landing in Renton and Lumen Field or online at Seahawks.com/pro shop.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
The Davis Law Group Charity Golf Tournament heads to the Prospector Course in Suncadia on August 20th. Proceeds benefit Life Support I-90, funding life-saving training and equipment for the first responders on call every day, covering the thousands of travelers heading over the I-90 corridor east of Snoqualmie Pass through Cle Elum and the surrounding areas. Tee times and sponsor packages are limited, so sign up today at dlggolf.com. That's dlggolf.com, because the life you save could be your own.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all three if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in the combo while supplies last.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners making a move to address their bullpen today. They traded their pitching prospect Jeter Martinez to the Pittsburgh Pirates in exchange for a veteran lefty reliever Caleb Ferguson. Now, Martinez is a 19-year-old prospect at Low A Modesto, ranked as Seattle's number 22 prospect per Baseball America. So making a move to address that. Meanwhile, another move that impacts the Mariners, sort of. It's a name that people were hoping to see here, but the word is the Philadelphia Phillies have agreed to a deal to acquire star closer Johan Duran from the Minnesota Twins. Duran was one of the most coveted relievers on the trade market ahead of tomorrow's trade deadline. Meanwhile, Mariners get back to it tonight after a bit of a dud last night against the A's in Sacramento. They're going to send Bryan Wu to the hill in Game 3 of the series. You can catch it all starting at 6 o'clock with the pregame show, 7:05 first pitch, right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. You guys can text in throughout the show at 866-979-3776. Keeping an eye on the trades happening in Major League Baseball, and a fairly big one there with Johan Duran going from the Twins to the Philadelphia Phillies. And that's a name I know a lot of Mariner fans were kind of daydreaming about. I don't know how realistic it was going to be, but yeah, it looks like Michael Bradley and his Phillies are the winners of the Johan Duran sweepstakes, if you will.
He's going to be happy. He'll be happy there. But yeah, I mean, I think the bullpen has. I just remember we've been doing this show together, 8, 10 years, something like that. I mean, it just seems like every other year the bullpen would be good and bad for the Mariners, and it's been phenomenal over the last few years. It's almost like you can just count on it. And we used to compare that to offensive line and how some years it's good, some years it's bad. And the Mariners have done a really good job as far as the guys that they brought in. And I expect the same with Ferguson.
Yeah. I got, that's the one area, you know, we complain a lot about moves they make and don't make and what works and what doesn't, specifically with offense. But the track record of Jerry and Justin and this front office when it comes to pitching, specifically the bullpen, has been really, really good. So Caleb Ferguson, all right, can't wait to see him. And just to give you an idea of what they wanted for Johan Duran, Philadelphia sent catcher Eduardo Tate and right-hander Mick Abel to Minnesota in return. Those two are ranked 4th and 5th, respectively, amongst the Phillies minor league prospects. So 2 top 10, 2 top 5 prospects in their organization in exchange for Johan Duran. So.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing about the Mariners is that they've given up, they haven't even been close to those top picks,
13,
right? 16,
and 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, in their organization.
I mean, and we were all kind of looking at just like the top 10 guys, but still, and the other one, Harry Ford, is still kind of surprising to me, but I guess it's just a signal that you just don't give up a guy that's that good no matter what the situation is. So, but, look, maybe they couldn't get anybody in exchange for him. But I don't know. He seemed like a logical choice just because of the catcher situation with Cal Raleigh.
Yeah,
locked up for a long time.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's got a path here. So he would seem like a very likely name. Now, maybe some of the teams they're dealing with don't need a catcher, don't want.
Yeah,
they're looking at it. We need pitching, or we need a shortstop, whatever.
It takes two, right?
Yeah. So as much as we place a value on Ford that other teams maybe don't, or maybe it's just not addressing their current needs. So you never know what's going on behind the scenes, and the wheeling and dealing going on, and other names are out there. Twins are sellers, obviously. Willie Castro, we talked about him earlier. He's a utility guy. He's played every outfield position. He's played second. I think second base is where he's played the most often, looking at the breakdown. He's played third. He's played shortstop. He's Dylan Moore. He's not a guy with a ton of power. I think his career high is 12 home runs. So if you bring in Willie Castro, I don't look at him as addressing the lack of thump at third base.
No.
So if they end up with him, okay, I'll trust him what they're seeing, but he's not a guy that I'm looking at going, okay, now I'm on board. He solves. I feel like it's almost redundant because you've got a version of him on the team.
Yeah, 10 home runs instead of 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. OPS, I think Williamson's like 600 or something like that. 743 with Willie Castro. I don't know. But, yeah, I think that game really helped solidify, especially in fans, and mostly I'm talking about the fans, not so much management, but as far as, how much they love Ben Williamson and, what a great defensive player he is. And then in that game, he happens to get a couple of knocks, which was nice, but, a single and a double, I think it was. So it's not like he was out there hitting home runs and triples, but yeah, at least, he got a couple of hits, and I think made people a little bit more secure about the kind of player that he is.
Yeah, he's got a 604 OPS. Yeah. So look, there's no doubt he's lacking that production you want to see there. He's very good at one aspect of the job. The other aspect is lacking for that spot. Is Willie Castro a night and day difference the way Gino is with 36 home runs or 30? What is he at? 37 now? 36?
Yeah,
he's up there. But driving in all the runs, all the damage he does, that's night and day. This feels like, it's kind of a lateral move almost. It's he's got more experience certainly, and maybe he does come up with some pop here and there as compared to what Williamson's giving you right now, but that wouldn't be the upgrade I'd be looking for. And again, he's an everything guy. He plays multiple positions, so he's kind of like Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore's got some pop. He's got more pop than Williamson does currently, and he plays outfield. He plays infield. I just feel like that would be kind of a redundant move, but Dylan Moore is in the absolute tank right now, so maybe not a fair comparison. But in terms of what you go into a season looking for from those guys, kind of the same.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of an interesting story. The Willie Castro one out. First they were saying no this, and then they were talking about how he was saying goodbye to everybody, and then it went the other way or whatever.
Who was saying he was saying goodbye?
I heard it on a report on the way, and I think that that was something that somebody had either written or was talking about. But anyway, yeah, that would. I didn't think it would be the Mariners either way, but I don't know. What do you think of the chances right now that they get Gino Suarez? Obviously we've got, what is it, tomorrow at 3 o'clock?
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Yeah.
Less than 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. They're certainly in it by every report out there. They're amongst a bunch of teams that have been burning up the phone lines with the D-backs, and the D-backs losing again today. So obviously they're not trying to hang on to these guys, but yeah, where they're at in the pecking order, what the ask is, I don't know. We had that article from Daniel Kramer yesterday that had a quote in there, somebody saying that, I can't remember the term they used, but kind of like the ask right now is absurd, or yeah, I can't remember what word they used, but like it was way out there. The ask for Geno,
prohibitive or something. Yeah,
it was like
a strange term.
It was like kooky talk. No, it's not good right now. So, are they going to come down on their ask, or is there going to be a team beyond the Mariners that's going to meet that ask? I don't know, but the other guys that have been rumored out there, Twins reliever Griffin Jax is a name that we've heard floated out there. Johan Duran, as we mentioned, just off the board. Start looking at teams like the Pirates and the Rockies have some relievers out there, Jake Bird and Seth Halverson, Juan Mejia. Pirates still have some relievers that are presumably available, and Dennis Santana, David Bednar. So I don't know. I wouldn't be stunned if they were to grab another arm and hopefully a bat.
Yeah.
But again, takes two. We'll see what they get done.
Well, I would be very shocked if people really cared that much about getting another reliever at this point. I mean, I think their focus would be all in on, number one, get us a bat. And so, and last night was a great example of, we said they 6 hits last night, was it? Yeah, and just zero production. So, I mean, when they go cold like that, it's just so discouraging. And by the way, I just want really quick to talk about Naylor and how good he's been at first base. And like he seems to be just entirely unaffected by, like, a lot of times you'll see a first baseman like wave his mitt and grab something, swipe at it or whatever. He just does it so effortlessly, man. It's been incredible. And like I said yesterday, somebody, I think it was Demo, that had a short hopper that went to him, and he picked it, and then I think Demo said something to him. He's like, "Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll get it." But yeah, that was really cool seeing the kind of defense that he has, because we know all about his offense. But yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if I don't know what the fan reaction is going to be if they don't. For some reason, I think it's too.
If they don't get another
bat, I think it's too obvious that it's going to be Geno. I think the more and more, I doubt it. But
you doubt he's going to land here? Yeah. I don't.
It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen, especially after you got Naylor, and I kind of feel like that's their big move.
Yeah, I mean, but Jerry has said on the shows, they're still in the hunt for a bat and arms, so doesn't mean they're going to get them. But it's when they made that move, and then we heard him talk afterwards that they were still in on these bats. That I loved hearing that, because that told me he's looking at it going, yeah, Naylor's great, but we need more. Right. We're not fixed. And that was the fear, that they were going to go into the trade deadline feeling like, hey, we're pretty close. We're right there. And they very easily could have been that way and said, all right, we added Naylor. We're good to go. But it doesn't sound like they felt that way. So we'll see, whether that's Geno or any other bat that lands here. Jeff Passan was on ESPN Radio this morning talking about Geno Suarez and giving some thoughts as to where he thinks he'll end up.
My instinct says Seattle, but I'm not confident in that at all, because the Mariners are in an interesting position. They have 8 really, really good prospects, and I don't think that they're inclined to give up one of them for a rental player, and I understand that. At the same time, this is an organization that has never been to a World Series, let alone won one. And so in an American League as wide open as this one is, with a rotation that includes Logan Gilbert and Brian Wu and Luis Castillo and George Kirby and Bryce Miller coming back, a bullpen that at the back end has Gabe Spire and Matt Brash and Andres Munoz. The lineup that I think is a lot better, certainly now with Josh Naylor and Randy Arozarena from last deadline, Cal Raleigh having a career year, Julio Rodriguez hitting for power. The Mariners have a chance, especially if they add Suarez, to be a really, really good team and to win the American League.
Yeah, I agree with him. But like I said, my instinct tells me it's Seattle, but he's not very confident that it's going to be that. So he's way to ride the fence, Passan. Either way, you're going to be right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really have a sense of what they're, are they the front runners? Are they going at this, full steam ahead, or are they looking at, all right, the ask on Geno is a little absurd right now, so we're looking at plan B, plan C, whoever those guys are.
What did he say, top 9 that they weren't going to touch, or was it 6? Top 8?
8.
Yeah.
They have 8 in the top 100 and all, not their top 8, but it's 8 in the top 100 is according to like MLB Pipeline.
None of those guys. Yeah, and found out that the X-rays for Geno's hand were negative, and so yeah, I mean, it just his reaction to that, and everybody reacts differently, right? There's some people that get pissed when they get hurt, right? And then there's others that, and he was kind of, the way it looked bad. It looked bad based on his reaction, but
there's no meat there.
Yeah.
It hurts to get hit in the top of the foot or the hand or the elbow. I mean, you take one in the leg or the thigh or the butt, whatever.
You get some meat.
Yeah, you can walk off, but you get hit in the finger or the knuckle.
Yeah. Cal gets hit in the dump where he doesn't even feel it.
Yeah, he was like, there are mosquitoes around here. I just got bit. But yeah, it's Geno would be a huge ad. What they do beyond him, if the ask is ridiculous, we're going to find out. I love this time though. I love just looking at Twitter, just seeing what's popping up there, looking at the headlines on ESPN, and seeing if something new has popped up and what are the Mariners doing, what is this team doing. It's a great time of year.
Yeah,
it really is. And look, you should be happy, Dave. You thought they were going to get a bullpen arm, and that's it.
Yeah. No, totally. And I love Naylor. Just the more I watch him, and I know for a lot of people these things don't matter, but I don't know, just watching his demeanor, I just think he brings a little bit of nastiness and super confidence, as far as, that was it the one where he had to come up the line and make like a really athletic play at first base, and I think that was 2 nights ago, and then he saw he threw it to second, and it went over his head.
Oh, and flipped it up.
Yeah, he kind of flipped it up in the air, and then he just turned around and walked away.
Yeah.
Then, I don't know, there's just something like he has an edge, and that,
he's not really
that
smiley.
I love. No, he doesn't smile a lot, and he seems to be pissed after he hits a home run. So, I mean, I think you picked up Ferguson, the bullpen guy, which, we all thought would happen, and then you addressed first base. So, and then meanwhile, Ben Williamson is playing really well at third base, so I don't think people can complain too much, but I think everybody would feel a lot better if you had Geno on board here.
Yeah, I think most people would. So we'll see where he lands. Meanwhile, something we talked about yesterday was the confrontation between Rob Manfred, or as El Hombre calls him, Manfred, and Bryce Harper. And I love that I don't think Bryce is speaking for everybody, because in these comments they talked about Rob Manfred's going around baseball. He's meeting with every team. This wasn't a Philly-specific thing, and he's not speaking to anybody else. He's speaking to each and every team. But it seems like he's laying the groundwork with each team, letting them know that, hey, when we address the new CBA, we're going to throw salary cap on the table. And he's getting a heat check, and he got some heat on that one. And in the story it says, quiet for the majority of the meeting. Harper, sitting in a chair, holding a bat, eventually grew frustrated and said, if MLB were to propose a cap and hold firm to it, players are, quote, not scared to lose 162 games. Now, that's where I don't think he's speaking for everybody. He's got generational wealth. He could do that very easily and wouldn't feel a thing. You got other guys who are, clinging to a roster spot. It might be their first year. Maybe they just got called up from AAA and they've been there for a hot minute. And it's just everybody's in a different financial situation. So to throw that out there and say, we're all united and we'll all just forego an entire season. I don't know if everybody's on board with that, but I do feel like everybody is on board with the idea of being anti-salary cap. I think that part, he kind of speaks for everybody. And his quote was, if you want to speak about that, you can get the bleep out of our clubhouse. Mm-hmm. And then Manfred said, I'm not going to get the bleep out of here.
So. I got to say, I got new respect for Manfred, for him to stand up to him right there and say that. Were you kind of surprised to hear that he came back at him?
Yeah.
I was. I thought he was just kind of a yes man. And, you see him, and that's why El Hombre calls him Manfred. But I newfound respect for Manfred.
Yeah. Well, and it said before the situation further intensified, veteran outfielder Nick Castellanos tried to diffuse the tension by saying, I have more questions.
Yeah. that would have been you.
Yeah. I've got a few more questions.
More questions to pepper you with.
Yeah. It says the meeting continued and Harper and Manfred eventually shook hands, though Harper declined to answer phone calls from Manfred the next day.
I'm going to ignore your phone call.
Yeah. We'll shake hands and, hey, thanks for coming down. Good meeting. And Manfred probably said, I'll call you tomorrow. And he went, yeah, you go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's been the problem with the union. And I was coming into my rookie year and, wasn't making very much money. I don't want to cry poor because I was making more than most people back then. But still, there were a lot of guys, the veterans and the guys that were established that just didn't really have a good perspective on what about the rest of us.
Yeah.
And in baseball, that's one thing I think that gets lost there. But I don't know what if they did go to a salary cap. What do you think that would do for baseball? I mean it would. They'd have to institute a floor. Well, that's the thing, and we've talked about that a million times. That there are these teams like the Pirates that just sit around and collect the money from the the collective.
Yeah, from the big spending teams that are paying that luxury tax. From the Yankees and the Mets and the Phillies and all those teams that are the Dodgers spending all this money, paying an exorbitant amount in that luxury tax, and that goes into their pockets. It's all being spread out. Same with television revenue. There's that revenue sharing. So you've got owners making millions of dollars profiting after their expenses.
Right.
And that's what made a team like the A's so frustrating. Is the second they'd get a player that was in a position to be paid, right, with a multi-year extension, they would trade him. And the Pirates, the same thing. Essentially, they became farm systems for the Yankees and all these other teams where once a guy was in line to get that payday, he'd be getting it from another team, and these guys are pocketing all the money, but they're not putting it back into the product. They're not
investing. Yeah.
No. And the A's, horrible ownership, horrible. I feel terrible for the Oakland fans that watch this team just do nothing every year. And despite that, years where they were very competitive, in spite of what their owner wasn't doing. And then, eventually they just, well, we're leaving. We're going to Vegas and we're going to, play in Sacramento for 3 years. They were a classic example of a team that didn't put it back into the product. Pirates the same way. So, yeah, if they're going to, I don't think a cap's going to fly. First of all, I think that's just a non-starter. But to play the hypothetical, if they did have a cap, you'd have to have a floor. You've got to hold these teams accountable. Look, you're all billionaires. You want to be a big league owner? Here's how it goes.
Yeah.
This is the minimum. Here's the floor. You can't go below this.
Well, and it seems to, that would address some of the, not like the Dodgers and the Yankees every year going and, the same teams. And in the NFL, that's what they're trying to do, right? They punish you. Yeah, they punish you for having a good season by getting the last, and then there's a floor, as far as, what you spend and a ceiling as well. And it just made it ultra competitive.
Yeah.
And, and I guess, like 75 of the top 100 most watched broadcasts were NFL games, and some of them were like Jacksonville versus Indianapolis.
Yeah,
so,
they're making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a money-making machine. So
I would be a painful process to go through that MLB, but because I think the players are definitely gonna rebel against that. But yeah, I wonder if in the long run, if they're able to get through it, it would make a healthier product as far as financial goes for Major League Baseball.
It might, on the surface, you feel like it would create more parity. Certainly, it wouldn't be the classic have and have-nots where you just felt like if you're an A's fan, a Pirates fan, one of those teams, you got no shot whatsoever. And the Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, Phillies are going to be in it every year in the race. Astros, all of those teams. So. We'll see. I'd be stunned if they were even entertaining the conversation of a salary cap. But quickly, Jeff Passan talking about Bryce Harper's confrontation with Manfred.
But last week, one of the biggest stars in Major League Baseball got in the face of the commissioner and said, if you want to talk about a salary cap, you can get the bleep out of our clubhouse. And there are a lot of Major League Baseball owners right now who not only want to talk about a salary cap, but want that to be the hill that they're willing to die on. So you're telling me that the 2027 season isn't in jeopardy?
Yes, it is. And then one more from passing on what Manfred yelled back at Harper.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't just
came right back at him.
Yeah.
What did he say back?
There was an F-bomb in there, too.
Wow.
Yeah. I will not get the bleep out of here.
Yeah, I got to say, did that ring a bell with you too? I was like,
Yeah, good for him.
I mean, I just remember how wishy-washy he was before it was the season a couple of years ago where, there was something going on and he was up talking. I'm trying to remember.
Well, he completely just blew the Astros situation. Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. I mean, that was just.
But he just seemed like a guy that's talking out of both ends of his mouth the entire time. And now you see him fire back at Bryce Harper, one of the more fiery guys. And from what I understand, he was holding a bat.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper was when he was throwing this out there. So
Hey, our coverage of Seahawks training camp is brought to you by the Landing in Renton. We're going to get his thoughts on what he's seen out at training camp. Bryan Walters is going to join us next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to the ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey, golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
Dive into the Marvel Universe on the official Marvel Podcast. We're going behind the scenes with the creators behind Marvel Comics, the stars of the MCU, and Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige.
But if you want the real answer, if we're trying to get real on this podcast,
celebrate the legacy of your favorite Marvel adventures and characters. The official Marvel Podcast.
I think this show's going to be a real treat.
New episodes every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, a two-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed, all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards, USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. We're hoping to catch up with Bryan Walters here momentarily. We're going to talk with Jon Morosi at 5 o'clock. Get his take on moves that have been made in baseball, those yet to be made. Maybe he's got some sources whispering to him. He's got some insight, here's what I'm hearing, guys. One of those kind of things.
Well, he's got, 22 and a half hours. Is that right?
Yeah, 3 o'clock tomorrow. 3 o'clock tomorrow is the deadline. So for those of you keeping track, we'll talk to Morosi coming up at 5 o'clock. But joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, you know him from the Seahawks broadcast. You know him as a Seahawks wide receiver out there. And he is with us now. The one, the only Bryan Walters is here. How are you, man?
What's up, guys? How we doing out there at the VMAC today?
We're doing good. We had a great conversation with John Schneider, fresh off of his contract extension. How about that, huh?
I know. I'm fired up for that. I love it. I think the continuity is so important for a team to not be switching GMs and stuff all the time, and to have a guy like John running it and made a lot of good moves in his career, and he's gotten away with some of the ones that, maybe you're kind of like, that didn't work out, but he's gotten away and then ran a successful franchise. So I love it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, there's no GM betting 1,000 out there, right? There's always a player you miss on, or the draft pick you miss on. That's football, but yeah, he's earned it. He's done a great job out here.
Absolutely, and you know what? We got the easy job too, because we get to see, when they make a move, see how it plays out, and then be like, oh, why'd you make that move? That was a terrible move. Why'd you do that? So,
everybody knew that wasn't going to work.
Exactly. Oh man, there was no chance that worked. What was he doing? But I can't imagine the seat that he sits in and the pressure that's on him, and he really has done a fantastic job. And again, a story I always tell about Jon. Sorry to keep going on about him, but
no, sure.
So, when I first started, I got to San Diego. That was my first team, 2 years in San Diego. And there I never once really met the GM. It was A.J. Smith at the time. And, you were almost scared of him. He was up in his perch, kind of looking out over everyone, never mingled with the team. You didn't really know him, never came up and said, what's up? And then I signed with Seattle. My first day, literally my first day in, I'm in the little lunchroom line getting food, and I happened to be right next to Jon, and Jon turns and introduces himself to me, and I'm like, oh, hey, thanks, Mr. Schneider, thank you. He goes, no, hold on, stop right there, Jon, call me Jon, please. And right then I was like, oh, this is so different. This is where I want to be. This is such an awesome place, awesome atmosphere, where your GM like that, who really controls everything, was just like another one of us, and a good guy to be around. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and he has an ability to balance some of the hard decisions. He does it in a way. I don't know. It's like I have friends that can act like, I have a buddy that he can act like a real jerk to people, and then it doesn't really come off that way. And that's the thing what Schneider has to do. Not that he's a jerk, obviously, but it's just that he has to make the tough decisions, and he's able to do it in a way that isn't personal, right? It's not like he's coming after
exactly. And I think I'm the perfect example of that, Dave, because how many times has Jon cut me? I mean, Jon cut me probably 20 times. In my 3 years in Seattle, I was getting cut, release sign every single week. But I still love him. As much as he makes that decision, and I'm so mad, oh, come on, I deserve this, I should be on the field. It's like somehow I still I respect what he's going through, the tough decisions he has to make, and I totally understand that job and that side of it, and I think he does a great job balancing that.
How many times did he cut you?
Hey, Bryan, tell us about JSN. I've asked Bump, I've asked lots of people just what you're seeing from him, because Julian Love was talking about him earlier and how he's among one of the, all the elite wide receivers in the NFL, but just what you see out of him and how much he has grown. I mean, you keep forgetting, the guy was the number 20 pick. I think people kind of gloss over that because, you had Spoon picked at number 5, but what are you seeing from JSN this year, and what is it that makes him so just such a great player and a guy that can play inside and outside?
Well, I think you just said it. I think what makes him such a good player, fantastic player, really, is that he can do it all. That's a unique trait for a wide receiver. Some receivers get pinned to being that X receiver, or they get pinned to being a slot receiver, or
what's
whatever.
What's a comp for him, do you think? Who do you see around the league that's like that?
Oh, man, Dave, that's a good question. Who would be like JSN? I don't put him in the same place as like a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. Those guys are in leagues of their own. As I go down to some of these, what about this? This is going to be a little crazy, but how about Cooper Kupp in his prime? When Cooper Kupp was catching 120 balls a year or whatever it was, and he did it all. Cooper Kupp he did everything. He was out of the slot. He'd line up on the outside. He'd get screens. He just caught everything. And I could see it being that, almost a little, maybe even better than that. Because what I'm most excited about with JSN this season is just, I think, his confidence factor. I think that's a big thing, especially for a wide receiver, just knowing you're the guy, knowing that you're, no matter what, you're that number one guy. You're going to be called upon. You're going to get your targets. It's there. He's not in the shadow of DK anymore. Which is, I think, something I think that's a tough balancing act when you come to a team as a first-round draft pick, but you already have a superstar on your team that is going to want a lot of the targets and want a lot of the balls thrown your way. And when maybe he's unhappy because he's not getting his targets, but you're getting your 10 targets. It's a tough balancing act. You're not going to have that this year. I know Cooper Kupp knows his role. JSN knows he's that number one guy that's going to be the heart and soul of Kubiak's passing game there. And so it's just going to be fun to see JSN really, really take that role and run with it.
What's your feeling about the offense just to start the season? Do you think it's going to be, a handful of games before they really hit their rhythm, or could you see them hitting the ground running and they've got it dialed in? What's a fair expectation?
Well, you hope it doesn't take them a few games to get into it. You hope that this is what training camp's for and to wrinkle out all the issues. I think it's pretty typical for offenses to start slow, especially in this case, learning another scheme, the third scheme in 3 years for the Seahawks. So everyone who's been on this team for 3 years, you kind of feel for them because that's tough. A new playbook every single year can get, I don't know, that gets brutal really as a player. So I think I still expect, Kubiak, he's been around. He knows how to teach it. He knows what to expect of his players, what his players can handle, so they feel confident going into week one. Honestly, I could see it being a rough couple preseason games offensively. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Just with the new scheme and everything. So I could see that happening, but that's good. What I always say is, if the offense came out right now and looked brilliant and sharp and everything was clicking, I'd almost be worried, because then, as a coach, what do you teach? What are you going in and correcting? There's nothing to correct, and you're just kind of like, well, maybe we got it. And then you're kind of behind the 8 ball when something does pop up. When it's not all going well, then you're like, oh man, like we could have corrected this in training camp, but it didn't show up in training camp. So I think it's good when you kind of have your teaching moments out there, and that's kind of what this has been in training camp. They've had their good moments as well, but a lot of teaching moments that you can kind of correct now, so you're ready for it and you've learned for it come week one.
Yeah, that's a great point, that if you got nothing to coach against. Hey, real quick, we got to get to break, B. Walt, but who's a young guy that you're really excited about? I'm looking at A.J. Barner. I love that kid. Could be a first, second, third year. Who are you looking forward to out of the young guys?
Yeah, I'll stick at the same position group. I think Elijah Arroyo, he's a young guy, and just the whole Noah Fant release and what his role can be now with him and A.J. Barner kind of taking the 1-2 spot there. And it'll just be kind of interesting to see who's going to be getting the targets at tight end, who's going to be given the opportunity. And, right now it'll be A.J. Barner. I loved what he did last year. But just that 1-2 punch at tight end is going to be something that I watch very closely. It'll be fun.
Bryan, always good to talk to you, man. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us, and I'm sure we'll be talking again very soon.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks.
There you go. There's Bryan Walters with us. If you guys didn't catch all of that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. And a reminder, we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the Seahawks host the Chiefs on Friday, August 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. It's completely free. You can enter every day to increase your chances to win. The contest runs through Monday, August 4th. Well, an often rumored position change has finally occurred for one NFL player. We're going to hear more about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Now batting for the Mariners, first baseman Josh Naylor.
The first contender to make the big move that says, we're all in.
Going and goodbye baseball. Josh Naylor, yes indeed.
You're now looking at a 1 through 6 in your lineup that's deep. It's legitimate.
Just one more day till the trade deadline. The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports has you covered on 710 and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, and when you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think about windows manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest climate. And Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors. And this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window. And these windows, they last up to 60 years. And they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. And they come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your home's resale value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And in July, and you better hurry, it's July 30th, in July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine, and you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well, and your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
The 2025 Seahawks season is almost here. Get fitted for game days with jerseys, caps, and tees, including the 2025 training camp collection. Visit the Seahawks Pro Shop at the Landing in Renton and Lumen Field or online at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop.
Bump letting you know the Employee Pricing Plus event is on at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get the 2025 Ram 2500 for $9,000 off MSRP. Subject to credit approval. Offer ends July 31st. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Seattle Sports is giving you a shot at winning 4 tickets to see the Seattle Seahawks host the Kansas City Chiefs on August 15th. Just open the Seattle Sports app, tap the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. Enter daily from July 30th through August 4th. Full details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. From the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app. The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snare that short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even bad hair day?
Yep.
And tree branch fell on my car day?
Especially that day. Progressive has you covered 24/7 for your home and auto.
How about thought it was chicken, but it was tuna day? Or overnight construction outside my bedroom day?
Those days too.
Great, because that was each day this week.
Been there. Well, at least your home and auto are covered every day with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Now is the time. We talk about it year-round, but roofing season really is upon us. It's Mike Salk here. So what makes it roofing season? Long, dry days where roofing crews can work realistically sun up to sundown. They're cranking out projects all over our region, and Riverside Roofing is, of course, leading the charge. Local to Marysville, Riverside Roofing serves the entirety of Western Washington. They do amazing work. They've earned my recommendation, plus industry awards like GAF Master Elite's President's Club, a status fewer than 1% of roofing companies in the entire country actually achieve. Get a roofing quote in less than 60 seconds using Quick Quote directly on RiversideRoofingLLC.com. It'll pop up as soon as you go on their website. During and after your roofing job, you can expect a yard and driveway totally clean of debris. Behind their national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville, built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the local roofing company you can trust. Go to RiversideRoofingLLC.com.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
So earlier we heard a couple of things from Julian Love when he was talking about the Seahawks receivers. Well, yesterday when he spoke,
He also was asked a lot about Nick Emanwari, and he discussed here how he's helping to mentor Emanwari.
I mean, I've been lucky to have some really good vets and mentors in my kind of career that just, kind of changed everything for me. And so I'm trying to be that for him, just trying to be a resource for him. Any question he can ask. I know Spoon is trying to be that for him, as well as the other guys in the secondary. Because, like I said, we need him. Like, it's not a thing of he's a rookie, we're going to, be on him a ton. Like, we're going to be on him, but it's all in the effort to just help him get better and just be the best player he can be. I don't know. That's what's special about this room. It's not just like talk. It's everyone, might get a little chippy in the room, inside the room, behind closed doors. But when we're out here, we have each other's backs and we just want everybody to succeed.
He's the anti-Paul Moyer, helping out a young rookie.
Yeah, that's
pointing him
right.
in the right direction.
No hazing.
Yeah, he's
telling him to go left when he should go right.
Yeah, I mean, and we've heard those stories about other, quarterbacks, whether they said, I'm not here to teach, I'm just here to play. And I still can't believe he's only 27. It feels like Julian Love's been around forever, and he's incredibly mature. But what a great mentor to have if you're Emanwari, right? Just to have a guy who's almost sounds eager to help.
Yeah.
And him saying, we need him.
Yeah, he's a total high character guy. Just love having him as your leader. And again, bring this up that, he could have moped around in New York because he sat behind some good players. And he mentioned, sitting behind some good players that were Pro Bowlers. And so what does he do? He goes and, sharpens his skill as far as special teams go. He's a special teams captain and comes here. And I don't know, I didn't think a whole lot of him, and I didn't think that much about him when he first got signed here, but think a lot about Emanwari. That's a great
I love
pick.
that pick.
And I think the thing we talked about it yesterday, I think he's more polished than Cam Chancellor was, and that's the comp that everybody's coming up with, which is maybe a little bit lofty for Emanwari, right? Let's not hold him to that standard, but yeah, I mean, I think his career can go that same way. He has the similar tools, and I think he is even more developed than Cam was his rookie year.
Sweeping the dial.
So before last season, you guys had talked to John Schneider about potentially reuniting with Jamal Adams and discuss maybe a position change. It didn't happen. The Seahawks didn't bring him in, and he's still a safety or trying to figure out how he could play as a safety. Well, now he is with the Raiders, and Jamal Adams confirmed to Raiders.com that he has switched positions.
Well, I'm not in the DB room.
You're in the linebacker room.
In the linebacker room.
All right, take me through that's it. That tells us a lot about what JJ was just asking you.
Yes,
take me through the linebacker room.
Yeah, obviously it's different for me, just being in the linebacker room. Obviously they speak a different language than what we speak in the back end. But, me just taking it on and learning everything, learning from the guys each and every day. You have so many guys in there that have put the time in, have battle scars, should you say, and I'm just kind of learning from them and, just going out there just to be a football player.
Yeah, he's best served there.
He kind of played
totally
like a linebacker his first year, right? He was up there in the box. He was rushing the quarterback. He had all the sacks.
And then the only time you ever saw him have difficulty was when he was dropping deep, right? I mean, he wasn't he just wasn't the same type of player, and saw one bounce off his face mask, some bounce off his hands. One of them, he had his arm strapped to his side so he couldn't get his hand up to get it. But yeah, I mean, I always thought they should have used him in the box more, but yeah, and I don't know why that is. Like, maybe he should get on the jugs machine, or just practice that, refine that part of his game. But hey, look, if he can, maybe he's beefing up a little bit and play linebacker. It's not that much lighter or that much smaller than a lot of the linebackers out there now.
Well, and I'll express an unpopular opinion out here. I'm rooting for Jamal Adams. I really liked him.
I did too.
He was a great guy. He was, by all accounts, his teammates loved him.
He loved football.
Yeah, and he loved football. And his first year here, he was fantastic. So injuries happened. You know better than anybody. And can't really help that. I mean, but is he going to be any more durable now? I don't think so, but I'm rooting for him to do well.
It's kind of funny that it took the NFL that long to figure out that he's more of a linebacker than a safety. I mean, everybody's trying to put him into that role, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm rooting for him.
Sweeping the dial.
More along the lines of what we heard from Jeff Passan about the Bryce Harper, Rob Manfred confrontation. So Tim Kirchin today was kind of going a little more about the players' union and how they will not budge on a salary cap.
The salary cap is something union wants no part of. Again, in the 81 strike, the one that I covered a million years ago, this was the major topic, and that was 44 years ago, and we're still talking about that. And the union is just going to have no part of a salary cap. And even though Major League Baseball doesn't present it that way, that's essentially what they are talking about. So we need to straighten this out quickly. This is not a time for a work stoppage of any kind. But I must say, I don't hear a whole lot of encouraging things about where baseball is going to be in 2027.
Yeah, he's echoing what we talked about earlier. I've been saying I think it's an absolute non-starter for the Players Union.
Well, and I just would hate to see the veterans that have all the money, be the ones that lead the charge. I always thought that was BS and the union situation, but the floor sure makes sense.
Yes, it does.
To me, that's where I can't understand why. I understand why the owners wouldn't, especially the owners. Well, I mean, if you're one of the owners that's spending money and you're part of providing, this from the pool, I mean, aren't you pissed? Like they're not even.
Think so.
Although it's like, well, at least we know we can beat him. I don't know what the mentality is there, but as far as the players go, that would be, that would be an opportunity to get more of the ownership's money, right? To raise that level. And yeah, it just seems like the other owners would get annoyed by that. Like, look at you're just sitting there collecting and you're not putting anything into this game.
Yeah, but like you said, maybe they're looking at it going, all right, I don't need to worry about you guys. Yeah. You're not trying.
That's right.
So that's one team I can cross off the list I don't need to worry about.
Yeah, especially if you're in the division, they're 12 or 15 games a year. You're like, all right, we got to win there.
Yeah. All right, coming up, we'll get the very latest on the trade deadline, everything happening around the world of baseball with our guy, Jon Morosi. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center at Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music of the year.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on OpenSignal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all 3 if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in the combo while supplies last.
Do you know how America became the best country on God's green earth? We made things. From automobiles to airplanes to textiles. We were the manufacturing epicenter of the world. The innovators that every other country turned to. I'm Katie Lyon, co-founder of Allegiance Flag Supply, and I'm here to tell you that the American spirit is alive and well at Allegiance, where we make American flags 100% in America. When you fly your American flag from Allegiance Flag Supply, you're not just honoring our country, you're supporting American men and women who proudly make the highest quality American flags, period. True patriots who put care into every stitch. See our full story at showallegiance.com and learn about our 100% American-based supply chain. Fly your flag from showallegiance.com with pride, because every flag says manufacturing is still alive and well in the U.S. and we are still the greatest country. Save $35 on your American flag set when you go to showallegiance.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners making a move to address the bullpen today as they acquired lefty reliever Caleb Ferguson from the Pittsburgh Pirates in exchange for pitching prospect in Jeter Martinez, a 19-year-old who was at low A Modesto, ranked number 22 in Seattle's organization in terms of prospect ranking by Baseball America. So they did address the bullpen. Another name that the Mariners were thought to be in on ends up with the Phillies. That would be Johan Duran, going to the Phillies from the Twins for 2 of their top 5 prospects. Meanwhile, the Mariners get back to it tonight after a bit of a dud last night against the A's. They send Brian Wu to the hill in this one, looking for the big win. You can catch it all starting at 6 o'clock with a pregame show, 7:05 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
I've never heard a person walk out of the stadium and say, wow, I wish the game would have included more waiting.
He is an endless source of baseball and hockey knowledge.
José de Ríos, el lanzador de Puerto Rico, el Clásico Mundial de Béisbol.
Jon Morosi, every week with Wyman and Bob.
You're being serious with me right now?
Oh, we're being serious, by God. He is with us each and every week, a conversation we all look forward to. He's joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He is Jon Morosi. How are you, man?
Deadline eve. I just had the thought that when I interviewed Ichiro on Sunday at the Hall of Fame, I did say to him, Mata ashta, which means see you tomorrow. And then he responded with, de nada, mañana, meaning you're welcome and we'll see you tomorrow. So tomorrow is now the day. Tomorrow is the day. It is the deadline day. And certainly it was a great start to the week there in Cooperstown as well.
John, I got to tell you, we were watching some of the interviews you were doing while we were on the air, prior to those ceremonies and everything, and you were smiling ear to ear. And Dave and I were talking about just going, man, this is a guy you actually get legitimately happy for. I mean, we were really legitimately happy watching you interview, just star players out there. You just seemed in your element. You could tell it was just that's your world. That's you probably had a tremendous time, I'm imagining.
For pointing that out. I really do feel grateful. And certainly, I guess the longer that I've spent in sports, guys, what I've always said is just try to get yourself to the places, the physical places, where you know that you're going to be happy. Focus less on exactly what you're going to be doing there and just focus more on how do I get there because of how that place will make me feel. Well, I think the first time I went to an induction ceremony, I was not doing the job that I do now. I was just there as a fan because I love it so much. And just by being there and going back more often, I'm so grateful that that's my job to help tell the stories and set the scene for the day ahead and to learn about Dick Allen and to learn about Dave Parker and then to have the honor of being able to interview CeCe and Billy Wagner and then Ichiro after the ceremony. So just one thrill after another. And Ichiro's speech, again, I've been there for probably 5 or 6 ceremonies now, and that's as beautiful of a speech, as funny of a speech as I've heard. And obviously, let's all remember, everybody, he delivered that in his second language. So as I like to ask myself, what have you done today, John? So what you need to get up? You need to get on the board. We all do. Just the way that he talks about the pride that he takes in his craft. And that to me is what I really took. And I have not yet been home since Cooperstown. I've actually drove down on Monday after we had our roundtable, which is one of my other favorite things that we do is have the morning after conversation. I drove to New Jersey after that. I'm here in studio at MLB Network for the week with the trade deadline. So, but when I get back home, I'm going to say to my girls, hey, let's gather around and make sure that we're watching what Ichiro said and his advice about being prepared in life and loving your craft, loving what you do. My goodness, there was just, whether you're involved in sports or have nothing to do with what we love here in baseball, it is wonderful advice that I really hope generations from old to young really take into their hearts and their minds what Ichiro was saying.
I remember for about a month I was playing some stupid video game on my computer, and I was like, I could have learned another language, with that time that I just...
There's still time, Dave. There's still time. That was Ichiro's message. There is still time to do it.
That's right. Well, and I would imagine that you run into a lot of guys like that out there, JP. I mean, these guys are all... I don't want to say like obsessed or like that it's any kind of a malfunction or anything, but like you've got to, it's just interesting to hear how those guys spend their time. I remember hearing J.J. Watt, the great defensive end that, was talking about how, it's pretty boring and you got to take care of your body and you got to take naps and you got to eat this food and everything. And I imagine that's kind of one of the common denominators there when you're these guys that make it into Cooperstown, into the Hall of Fame. They're almost like obsessed with baseball, right?
And it's a great observation. You have to do, I believe, the little things well. And Ichiro talked about that. And again, we love the detail and the nuance that you often hear from the Hall of Fame. We don't always hear detail about how you care for your spikes, how you care for your glove. But these are the tools of the trade. And for Ichiro, there was no detail that was too small that you would just overlook it or leave it to chance. In his code, in his professionalism, you had to make sure that every detail was cared for. And that was your professional obligation. The results you can't always control. In fact, you can rarely control results, but you can always control preparation. And it's interesting. It reminded me different different perspective on the game, and yet similar. Ted Simmons, also a Hall of Famer. Of course, he was a Mariner executive for a number of years, principally known as a catcher of both the Cardinals and the Brewers. Ted Simmons, when he went into the Hall of Fame, I had a long interview with him right before he went in, and he said to me that as part of his mental preparation and review when he was playing the game is he kept a notebook, and he would journal interesting things that happened in the game that day. Thoughts about pitches, pitchers, philosophies, hitting approaches, cutoffs, relays, everything. He kept a journal, and it became his manifesto of sorts. But that was where he went for insight. And he told me once, and again, this is life advice, not just baseball advice. When something happens in your baseball world or your world itself that strikes you as being a little odd or uncommon or something that is different than what you expected, he said, find that moment, get into that moment and tear it apart 79 different ways and figure out why it happened that way and what insight you can glean from it. And Ted Simmons is a Hall of Famer because of that mental side of the game. Again, different approaches. Ted grew up in Detroit. Ichiro grew up in Japan. Different upbringings, and yet they arrived at the same conclusion about the importance of caring for the nuances and the smallest things. Yeah. And I just thought that was such great insight from Ichiro and Ted Simmons as well a few years back.
Hey, John, tell Mariner fans what they are getting in Caleb Ferguson, the arm the Mariners acquired today from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Someone that's going to necessarily be pitching at the very, very end of the game, but he can get you some leverage outs late on in the game. And I think that's what the Mariners need. They're not done, I don't think. I believe they might look for one more potential late-inning arm. They may also still be in the mix there for Eugenio Suarez, as I'm still checking my phone to see what other additional details are coming through. This is one of those conversations where you're kind of just constantly checking to see what the latest information is. But I think in general, the Mariners, they've already made a couple moves, which – again, is more than a lot of contenders have done. I'm still waiting for the Cubs to really check in and make a big-time move. Still waiting on the Dodgers to do something. But the Mariners, they've now made two moves. The Naylor move, I think, was in a big way what they needed. And the other really important thing for the Mariners at this juncture is their pitching, their rotation has gotten healthier. And when you believe that you have got more or less a full rotation of healthy pitchers, you're ahead of the game because a lot of teams – even good teams, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cubs, they don't have that right now. So I do believe that right now the Mariners are in a good position, but they're not totally done yet. And again, Williamson's defense, as much as, and I'm right there with everybody saying, yeah, if you can get Eugenio Suarez and bring him back, go for it. But Williamson's defense it can be game changing. And so I would not necessarily be in a huge rush to make a move to just make a move for someone in Williamson who's really become, I think, a key part of the Mariners' success on the defensive side of the ball.
Have the Mariners made the splashiest trade, do you think? I know that there were some other moves made, but as far as best trade, how do you rate it? And is it the biggest news item, you think, of all these?
A couple solid B trades in terms of impact. I think the biggest impact so far have been the reliever trades that involve Duran going earlier today to the Phillies. That was a massive trade. The price was huge, and yet Duran is elite. And so I love that deal from both sides because the aggressiveness tells you why Dave Dombrowski is going to the Hall of Fame one day. And then I think on the opposite side of things, it was a really good job by the Twins to bring in some talent. Mick Abel, I think, is going to be a starter for them very, very soon. The Rogers trade to the Mets, again, they gave up a ton to get him. Gilbert is a really good player, so they've given up value, but this is the price tag. Same thing now with the Helsley trade going over to the Mets. They're serious about winning the World Series, and I think now we're seeing where the bar is. A lot of teams that are good quality teams in the National League that were waiting to enter the chat, as the kids would say, and I think that's now the time has arrived for teams like the Dodgers, even the Padres, who always have a bunch of things going on. I think the Padres have some work to do now to sort of get back into the conversation for the playoffs there in the National League.
So if the Mariners don't land Suarez, who are some other names you think they're legitimately looking at? We keep hearing about who is it, Willie Castro from the Twins. And I'm looking at his numbers going, yeah, he's kind of Dylan Moore. He's a guy that doesn't have a position. He plays all over the place, doesn't have a lot of pop. I think if they're going to address that spot, if you're going to improve on Ben Williamson and maybe take a hit defensively, you better bring somebody who's got some thunder with him, and that's not him. So that, to me, is not the answer. Maybe they're interested, but who do you see outside of Geno that they could be, or maybe you're hearing that they're in on?
Certainly a name to watch. And then with the outfielders, I'll focus there a bit. I know that it's gotten crowded out there. They've gotten certainly better production from Julio, but you can always add one more bat. And I was intrigued, especially with Raley now moving on the injured list. The call-up of Locklear is interesting to me. Does this mean that they really trust him more? He's on a really good streak right now at AAA. So this is interesting to me. Is he really the guy that they now have a role carved out for? Or are they looking at the potential of another guy like a Harrison Bader, Ramon Laureano, or Tommy Pham, who is the perpetual trade deadline candidate? In the last less than 2 calendar years, he has been traded. He was traded at the 2023 deadline, signed with a new team, was traded again at last year's deadline, claimed on waivers, and then signed with the new team. And with the Pirates, he's actually been one of the most productive hitters in the game in the last month plus. And by the way, it'd be a pretty good sign for the Mariners if they were to get Tommy Pham, because 2 years ago, he was in the World Series with the D-backs. Last year, he was in the American League Division Series with the Royals. And so basically, we just have to figure out where is Tommy Pham going, and then that team will eventually go to the playoffs, which is a very good news, in fact, if there's that really positive omen there for the Seattle Mariners. So, again, I mean that with great sincerity. Tommy Pham is a legitimate bat, and for teams that need a bit more of a right-handed side, whether it's an outfield platoon bat, a little bit of DH, and again, with the Raley injury, only the Mariners know internally how long he might be out and just how much they believe in Locklear to be able to get some really quality Major League at-bats here now at the big league level.
In somebody like Tommy Pham, I can't imagine that could have a huge asking price. I mean, he's 37 years old. He's got 4 home runs this year. You're not bringing Geno over. So I would imagine, should they do something like that, it's not what they give up in return is not going to be consequential.
Probably be something similar to what the Ferguson price was, more or less. But Pham is he's on an expiring contract that makes him a very natural guy to move at this juncture, but he is someone that I do think has some value, but he could probably be had, I would say, in the final hours before the deadline tomorrow. There are teams out there looking for impact, and honestly, one more name may not necessarily be a really good fit. Actually, he would not be a fit for the Mariners because of the Naylor trade effectively crowding him out, but don't be surprised if the Guardians trade Carlos Santana, because he's another guy that has a ton of experience. The Guardians probably not on their way to the playoffs. And so don't be surprised if Santana, much like other guys we've talked about, like Pham, finds his way back into a postseason role because he's simply been there so often, and you love having that veteran know-how on your bench when you get to late September and October.
JP, Rob Manfred was in the Phillies clubhouse and suggested a salary cap, and then Bryce Harper told him to get the bleep out of here. What do you think about that whole thing? I mean, that could, possibly send, them into work stoppage, and, it's something I hadn't heard, I'm sure it has been bandied about a little bit, but what did you make of that exchange? I kind of like that Manfred, it kind of stood up to him, says, no, I'm not going to get the bleep out of here.
No, and I'm not clear on this. We should acknowledge this at the outset. I'm not clear if those words, salary cap, if that was actually said at any point in the conversation. We don't know for sure. What we do know is that there's plenty of tension there. That much you can glean from just the fact that the story became a story, that it got out. I don't know, to be honest, Dave, if it meaningfully changes the rules of engagement, if you will, or really alters where we're at right now in terms of the potential of labor peace or the absence of same. But I do think it speaks to the fact that there are some fairly significant economic issues that are going to have to get worked through. And I am an optimist at my baseline. We've talked about that a lot. I do think that there are plenty of off-ramps between now and a potential work stoppage that will allow the parties to reach accord. But what I think the commissioner is saying here, and I think it's a very noble pursuit, is that, yes, Bryce Harper's got a contract in excess of $300 million. Bryce Harper is not the average player. Right. The average player is someone that gets between 0 and 2 to 3 years of experience in his career. It's a small percentage of players that actually ever end up getting to free agency. So the rules of free agency, qualifying offers, that kind of thing, affects a relatively small percentage of the playing population. I think what the commissioner has done, I think very correctly and in some ways brilliantly, is to basically take the case to the clubhouses and say, listen, I'm trying to find an economic system that works for everybody. I'm paraphrasing here, but I think the idea here is to point out that hypothetically, a minimum salary has a lot more to do with a big percentage of players than does the maximum salary, right? Yeah. And I think that's where if the minimum salary steps up to $1.2 million, that means a lot more than whatever the upper bound is for what Harper, Machado, Juan Soto, whatever they wind up getting. So I think it's real. There are definitely different points of view in all this. And it's going to take some time to get it all sorted out. But the fact that it didn't necessarily seem as though, and by the way, in the last couple of days, it's not as though we have seen quotes from clubhouse to clubhouse all around the country saying, yeah, Bryce is exactly right, and here's why. We haven't really heard that. So I think there are probably a lot of savvy players that realize that the minimum salary has a lot more to do with their well-being than what is happening for Harper and Machado and Soto and Ohtani, who are occupying a very elite class that is really unattainable for most of the even great players that play baseball.
Realistically, what are the odds that they avoid a work stoppage? Because if they are toying with the idea of a cap, if they're sort of just testing the water by throwing it out there and seeing how players I just think the MLBPA that's a non-starter. It's just not even going to be a conversation to be had, I think. But what do you think? Are we just kind of set for preparing ourselves for a work stoppage, or do you look at it and say, no, I think there's some room to make something happen here to avoid that, realistically?
I believe there's a better than 50-50 chance they can find a way to reach a compromise. And again, that's an educated guess a year and a half out. So we got a long time to go between now and then. I'll make the very obvious but rather helpful statement that in the history of all four major sports in the United States, MLB, NFL, NHL, NBA, all work stoppages have ended. They've all ended at some point. So no matter how long it happens, if it happens, it's not going to last forever. And I think it's important to keep that perspective in mind. And the other piece of the whole conversation here is that last time I checked, attendance is up. A lot of the ratings are up. The game is in a pretty great place. The All-Star game was very well received and well viewed. So I think that it would be really a mistake on the part of people if we shut the sport down over issues that pertain to a very small percentage of the players. That's how I look at it. Others may disagree with me, but that's my general statement, that for the vast majority of the players who are involved in this game, things economically seem to be working just fine, especially when you compare this situation to competitive balance in pro leagues everywhere else. Last time I checked, we have had exactly 0 repeat champions in this sport in the last 25 years. Zero. Last time it happened was 2000. So if this was all of a sudden the domain of the Yankees and Dodgers, then again, they did play in last year's World Series. That's true. But they have, neither one has gone back to back in the last quarter century, and the Mets haven't won a World Series since 1986. So for all the big market focus, I think actually competitively the game's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I agree. And 2000? That was the Yankees back-to-back, right?
So when the Yankees won the Subway Series against the Mets in 2000, that was the last back-to-back championship that any team has had. And by the way, it's not as though the Dodgers are on a glide path to winning it this year. They've got some turbulence. They do not have the best record in the National League. In fact, right now that record belongs to the Milwaukee Brewers, which, depending on your calculation, is either the 29th or 30th market in Major League Baseball, and they have the best record. The best records in the American League in recent days have been held by Toronto, which is a major market, and Detroit, which is not. So there's a lot of actually very healthy competitive balance to where I do not think that the economic rules of the game need to be rewritten, because we actually have a pretty good distribution of competition around the sport right now.
John, as always, love the conversation, and in all sincerity, Dave and I were really, really just getting a lot of joy on watching how happy you were out there interviewing players. It was really cool to see, man, and glad you had a great time out there. You killed it as always, and we appreciate the conversation. We'll do it again next week.
Awesome teammates, and I really appreciate all the love and all the kindness. It means the world, and thanks for watching there on Sunday. It was a real honor to be there. Thank you.
Have a great one, John.
Thanks,
we'll talk to you
JP.
next week. There you go, everybody. There he is, the great Jon Morosi, with us each and every week. If you guys missed any part of that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. What are you laughing at?
Even after he's done, he's still sitting there with that huge grin on his face.
He's just Mr. Positive.
But you're right. Like you could just tell. I mean, he was like a little kid.
Yeah,
back there, so doing the interviews and just
so
awesome.
Cool. And the players love him.
Truly loves his job.
Oh yeah,
truly loves.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. All right, coming up, one notable NFL holdout is over. Sort of. We'll tell you what that's about. Coming up with Wyman and Bob, live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center at Seattle Sports on 710.
Now batting for the Mariners, first baseman Josh Naylor.
The first contender to make the big move that says, we're all in.
Going and goodbye baseball. Josh Naylor, yes indeed.
You're now looking at a 1 through 6 in your lineup that's deep. It's legitimate.
Just one more day till the trade deadline. The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports has you covered on 710 and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. We had Andy Ryder. He is the mayor of Lacey, and he's a Swedish Cyberknife patient. We had him and Dr. Landis from Swedish Cyberknife in studio a little while ago. A couple things that really stood out about Swedish Cyberknife is the treatment. Number one, it only takes 5 sessions. Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full time. And each treatment session lasts less than an hour. And he was able to remain comfortable during treatment. You know, you can wear your street clothes in. He didn't experience many side effects other than mentioning he was a little bit tired. But you compare that with other treatment methods for prostate cancer where you have to have surgery or a catheter. I mean, it's night and day with Swedish Cyberknife. Also, it was really cool to see the relationship between Andy and Dr. Landis. Andy holds him in very high regard, and rightfully so. Dr. Landis is a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award. And we talk around here about building a sports team and trying to find stars and superstars. Swedish Cyberknife truly has that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field, just like Dr. Landis. And Swedish Cyberknife treats patients from all over the state. So also, you don't need a physician referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate for more information. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
I'm here letting you know the Ford Summer Sales event is happening now at West Hills Ford, where you can get the 2024 F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive at $14,982 off MSRP on approved credit. West Hills Ford, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
12's Seahawks training camp, powered by Boeing, is underway at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Join us lakeside for a first look at your 2025 Seahawks as they put in work and gear up for a milestone 50th season. Only a few open practice remain, and they're filling up fast. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed all in. Plus get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to Jon Morosi, who joined us in the previous segment. If you guys are just tuning in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that. It'll be right there waiting for you after the show, as it is each and every day. Don't forget, you can click subscribe, and it just shows up for you. It's free. You never have to worry about it after that. It's a beautiful, beautiful process. So we'll see what goes on with the trade deadline, if any of the other names that were mentioned in that conversation pop up in the way of the Mariners. Meanwhile, taking a look at some of the things going on around the NFL and training camp, Trey Hendrickson is electing to hold in. He's going to show up to Bengals training camp. And is he going to actually participate? We've seen that happen here where guys are here and they're out there, they're in the meetings and they're standing on the sidelines, but they're not participating in drills. And
right.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
I think they go out and stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, you might see a receiver catching some balls, whatever, but yeah, nothing, no practice, sitting in the meetings, like you said. So, yeah, I mean, at least it's getting a little bit more friendly there.
Well, that's a show of good faith on his part, I think.
Yeah.
I think when any player does that, if they're disgruntled or they're upset, but they're like, look, I'm not going to be away from my guys. I'm not going to miss the mental snaps, if you will, and the meetings and that kind of info. So I'm going to be there, but I'm not going to risk injury by.
Yeah, which you would want for the player, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. And that, I always go back to the Dwayne Brown hold-in, because he knew Jon was going to get him a deal, but like he had a certain order of what he was doing, and he was working on the one in front of him. So Dwayne showed up in good faith. I miss that guy. Dwayne Brown was so cool. He was really just a good dude, but what a great player. And by the way, one of the better trades that midseason that Schneider made.
Yeah.
over
Fantastic
his
left
career.
tackle.
But yeah, I mean, it's encouraging at least to hear that Hendrickson is such a great player. I mean, I'm just frustrated for him, but yeah, what was the other, there was some sticking point about, was it guarantees or something like that? Oh, and there was some clause about conduct.
No, that was that Shamar, the rookie.
Oh, was that him? Okay.
Yeah, that was the rookie.
Yeah.
17th overall pick, I believe. And there was, they were,
but
he and his agent was balking at language in there that if he got busted for conduct detrimental to the team, it would no longer guarantee his money. But
dealing with the Bengals,
yeah,
in both situations, just a hard time there. And I couldn't understand this one just because back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons. I think he just automatically paid that guy.
Yeah, I don't know what the ask is. I haven't seen the numbers that he wants versus what they're offering, but yeah, I mean, this guy's beyond consistent and consistently dominant. So, yeah, I know they didn't have a great defense last year, but he was not the problem by any stretch. So, yeah, he's holding in. We'll see if that leads to a deal being done for him, or maybe they're going to move him. Who knows? Other things going on. Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely broke a bone in his foot. He's going to miss around 6 weeks. It's such a bummer when you see injuries happening in training camp, and it impacts the season. I mean, it's an obvious statement, but a lot of times, especially when it's a non-contact injury like Kenny McIntosh, and you're like, his whole season's wiped out now. He didn't even get hit, and this guy is going to miss 6 weeks, so that's going to go into the season. How deflating is that? And I know you've talked about your injury when you were in the best shape of your life, and you got hurt. It's such a gut punch.
Yeah, and you asked, like, is it better to have somebody roll into your leg or to pop it on your own? I think it's roll into your leg. It's better. I mean, at least you couldn't help that. If you pop, an ACL by making a cut or whatever, you think, oh, man, I should have trained harder or whatever. I'm not sure what the case was with Kenny Mack. I think he made a cut or something. But,
yeah, they said non-contact.
Yeah.
So.
And it was, you're right about the injury. It's so discouraging, and I feel bad for, the Ravens. And like you were saying with Aaron Judge, like you want to beat somebody, you want to beat all of them. You want to, you don't want Aaron Judge to be unhealthy. You want it to be, a good matchup. And same thing, I think, with teams. You come in with, you're down a couple of guys, and it's not like you're beating the team that was originally there. And that, it made it even worse. I talked to KP, the running back coach, Kennedy Polamalu, and he was talking about how he just thought McIntosh was just going to thrive in this system. It's like, it's just perfect for him, the way he runs and everything. So just really discouraging, but
especially for a guy who is fighting for his spot on the team.
Yeah. Well, and he's also universally loved, I feel like, by fans. And like, as much as we talk about him, I know Bump talks about him, and, there's lots of people that are just like, why isn't Kenny McIntosh in there? Moyer, So, yeah, what a shame.
Yeah, it's just, look, if you're an established player who's made a lot of money and it happens, still a bummer. Obviously, it's a big deal. But when we're talking about a guy who hasn't really had his crack at it yet, he's had little spots here and there like McIntosh and presumably fighting for his spot on this roster. That's just such a big deal, man. It is just a gut punch. Other thing going on, first preseason game of the preseason is tomorrow.
Wow.
Not for the Seahawks, obviously, but the Chargers and Lions in the Hall of Fame game.
Is it on some fancy channel that we can't get?
Roku
or something?
A fancy channel.
Apple Plus.
I don't know. Probably NFL Network. Isn't that usually where it's at?
I would hope so.
one of those fancy channels. Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
It's
Peacock. No, I'm just kidding. It's on NBC. Also available on Peacock, but it is on NBC tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have to log on to anything. You don't have to.
You might have to figure out your remote, Dave, but that's the only issue, I think.
You don't have to mess with a QR code or anything.
Yeah, as long as I know how to do the guide thing. Okay, that works for me.
I've got the guide mastered. Yeah. So I can't even believe that first game.
Yeah, it came quickly. So I don't know. Those guys are starting, I guess, a few days early as far as their camp goes. But
is Herbert going to play at all? Is Harbaugh going to let his golden child play? We didn't get into that story, but I sent you guys that story about Harbaugh and what he was saying about Herbert, and like his only weakness are the players around him.
Did you see the video?
I didn't see the video.
Okay.
I just read his.
So when you read it, it does look like you're like, oh my God, it's like Wyman trying to shoehorn Cal Raleigh into a, football conversation. So, but then when he said it, I mean, he was like, it's on us coaches, it's on this and that, and he was just praising him basically.
Oh, he loves.
But the way he wrote it, it just made it sound like he has so much adoration. He does.
And he does. Yeah, he's made we played all those other clips. I mean, he loves.
He's a beast.
Herbert. That's what I call him now. Beast. It's like, did you hear how creative I was? I killed it. I call him Beast. But yeah, I mean, he adores Justin Herbert. Yeah. Absolutely adores him. So.
Well, and he's a guy, I mean, that he was drafted the year I was drafted in the first round. He was and he played quarterback for a long time. So
was he thought to be weird as a player? I don't recall that.
No, I don't think so.
I think he's just gotten weird as he's gotten older.
Yeah, I know somebody that knows him, and I didn't hear any weird stories or about his little, peccadillos or whatever you call it, his little weird actions. And
strange dude.
Now he is. And I love it about him.
Yeah. Hey, our coverage of Seahawks training camp is brought to you by The Landing in Renton. We're going to set the scene for a pivotal finale against the A's. That is coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to the ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
It's motorcycle weather out there. Just look outside. It's sunny. It's warm. I'll be riding home on the motorcycle. I've been riding it every single day and just trying to get as much time in as I can before the weather turns. But I understand the risk that comes with being on a motorcycle. And I know some of you listening are riders, and maybe you've been involved in a motorcycle crash and been injured. If that happens, here's one thing I can tell you. Do not settle for an injury firm, a law firm that says they're motorcycle lawyers. You got to trust the ones who actually live it. That's Law Tigers. They've been a part of the writing community for nearly a quarter century nationwide. They are there 24/7, 365 days a year. It doesn't matter if it's a weekend or at night. They are available because writers deserve real support when they need it most. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when you are in need, and you see them everywhere. You obviously see the billboards, you see the vans driving around, you see the tents out there. They're out there at all the events, supporting all the shops, all the clubs. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation, by the way, completely free. There are no fees until your case settles, so they don't get paid until you get paid. You never write alone when you got the Law Tigers there. The Law Tigers are Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Seattle Sports is giving you a shot at winning 4 tickets to see the Seattle Seahawks host the Kansas City Chiefs on August 15th. Just open the Seattle Sports app, tap the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter. You can enter once per day, so the more you enter, the better your chances. Enter daily from July 30th through August 4th. Full details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. From the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app. The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at PCF Construction. If you're seeking a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, maybe a new deck, patio cover, railings, well, my friends at PCF have you covered. This summer, well, you can enjoy 12 months of no interest and no payments. And how about this? Plus 50% off a design and architectural drawing package, or up to $5,000 off an undercover system. If you're looking at your outside and saying, golly, what a beautiful summer in the Pacific Northwest, and we can't take advantage of it, well, take advantage of these offers today. If you've been wanting that new deck, that new patio cover, make the call. Get online right now and connect with my friends at PCF. You can find all the offer details. You can get project ideas, and you can browse photos at pcfgroup.com or call today at 425-629-8476. Don't let this offer pass you by. It's 425-629-8476.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service. Really? Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you. Which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/22/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited intro line apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile, Wi-Fi, and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Got the Mariners and A's wrapping up their series in lovely Sacramento tonight. Game 3 of that series. Mariners took game 1. A's took the game last night. So hopefully Brian Wu and the crew will guide them to victory tonight. They need to keep up with the teams around them. I'm keeping my eye on, obviously, Houston for the division. But looking at the wild card race, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Rangers. Those all have an impact on where the Mariners are. And you know, it'd be cool if they can't win the division, if they could take that first spot in the wild card. But, you know, we'll see what they can get done. But these are teams you need to beat. And when you send your guy out there, Brian Wu's been your most consistent starter this year, you got to win these games. And hopefully the offense will shine a little bit. We can get something out of them. J.P. Crawford is back in the leadoff spot again tonight, but no Tyler Locklear. So we'll see when he gets inserted. I don't know, maybe he gets called in as a pinch hitter or something somewhere in the game, but your lineup tonight is Crawford, Julio, Cal, Rosarena, Naylor, Polanco. Garver is catching, Cal is DHing, so Garver, Canzone, and Williamson.
Yeah, I don't remember looking at better numbers from AAA Tacoma than Tyler Locklear has. Just, you know, every once in a while when they bring somebody up, you look at, oh, how's he doing down there? You know, he had played in 98 games, 373 at-bats. We talked about this earlier. 118 hits, which is best. All these are best. Best in the team. Home runs, 19. And so, and then RBIs, 82. That's the most that the team, you know, in the team. And also stolen bases. How about that? He's got 18 stolen bases. But, yeah, I mean, he's a first baseman. Have we seen him play anywhere else? Probably outfield, but
I haven't. They say he can play third. He's played third. I don't know if he's done it at all this year, but he, you know, and we're seeing Polanco at second base more often. He's at second base tonight, and that was the first thought that occurred to me. Like, all right, if they're calling him up, obviously he doesn't fit at first because you just brought in Josh Naylor. So how do they get his bat in the lineup? Well, maybe it's as a DH, which is where Polanco's been living for most of the season, but we have been seeing him get more turns defensively at second. So maybe his at-bats come at the expense of Cole Young. Maybe Cole Young's are going to be riding the pine, and maybe your DH more often will be Locklear, and Polanco will be out at second, depending on, you know, what other bat they may acquire before the deadline. But that's kind of how I thought it through. I don't know if that makes sense to everybody else, but I'm not sure where else you play him.
Yeah, you know, Polanco, it's interesting playing at second because in the beginning of the year we were like, oh, just leave him DH. You don't want him on the field.
Just you didn't want him at third.
Well, yeah, it was because of, his performance, but also, you know, his injury, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, hey, this guy, he's our DH. Let's just let him do that. So back at second base. But, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of excited to see Locklear. And I don't know, for Dan, maybe it's, you know, just putting the lineup in the right position and, you know, giving guys just a chance to feel confident. And I don't know, like I always talk about, and we all do, that Dan Wilson has a better finger on the pulse than anybody else of this team. And so, you know, we'll see what happens, just changing things around slightly.
Yeah, it's this is a big one because you got a 4-game series with the Rangers, and we just talked about they're a game back in the wild card, so obviously things can change in a very dramatic way over a 4-game series. So you need to hopefully go into that series with a little bit of momentum, feeling good about, all right, we just took the series from the A's on the road, and the A's just swept the Astros. So that's a nice series win.
Yeah.
You come back home. You got 4 with the Rangers, who are right on your heels. So
that's right.
This is a big deal. This is a big one coming up. But it's going to be how they mess with the lineup. And again, I'm anxious to see if they do pick up another bat. If they, Morosi, we had Jon Morosi on. If you guys are just tuning in, talked to him a few segments ago. But he thinks they're still in the market for a bat. Doesn't mean they're going to get one. We don't know what the asking prices are if they're too exorbitant. But, I think in a perfect world, they'd like another bat and another arm.
Yeah, and you know what? I hope that they break the news. Is it during our show? Yeah, it goes till 3 o'clock, right?
Yeah, the trade deadline, 3 p.m.
Yeah. Can you please just do it during our show this time? Last time it was like 30 minutes after we got off the air when they got Naylor.
And I think they'll make announcements after that. I think they have to have the deals done by 3 p.m. They can announce some after that. So,
okay,
we'll be on the air.
We'll be on the air.
We'll be ready for whatever announcement they may have.
Yeah,
ready to embrace it.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
Or criticize.
You know, we talk.
whatever.
Yeah, right. We talk about the Seahawks having a complaint-free draft. Nobody really complained.
Yeah, they got rave reviews.
Right. And then, because you got a guard that was everybody was going on and on about, and everybody liked the draft. If they got Geno, it would be I think a complaint-free trade deadline. If they went and got Eugenio Suarez, you got your bullpen piece with Ferguson.
Well, we already heard complaining they didn't get Duran.
Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, well that was
here.
That's the fringe. We don't need them, but
that was some psycho walking around this building.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So here's reason to think there's gonna be a lot of activity tomorrow. That graph I was mentioning earlier today. So the guys at Cespedes Barbecue track this. Last year on the actual deadline, 32 trades were made compared to just 11 the day before, and then there was like single digits beforehand. 2023, 22 trades were made on deadline day. The day before, only 8. There's going to be a lot happening tomorrow.
Wow. People love waiting until the very end, I guess. But
they're messing with the asking price and what they're willing to give. They're it's trying to see who blinks first. Like, we want this. Well, we can't give you that. We'll give you this. Well, that's not enough. All right. Well, that's our offer.
If they get Suarez and anybody texts in and complains, I'm going to try to find them. Okay.
The complainer.
Yeah. I'm going to come find you.
Now you've just guaranteed somebody will do it.
I'm going to set your car on fire.
You'll set Lefko's car on fire. You'll set your own car on fire.
Yeah. In front of your house.
Yeah. You'll just drop it off.
I'll drive up on your lawn.
Yeah.
And set my car on fire on your lawn. I don't want to hear any complaints.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah, tomorrow could be a very big day. I'm looking forward to that. We'll be back in studio tomorrow, and then we'll be out at T-Mobile Park on Friday, broadcasting from T-Mobile Park. So, but not at Edgar's. We'll be up in the broadcast booth on Friday. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun couple of days. We'll see what goes on here. See if maybe Locklear gets a pinch hit opportunity tonight or something. But he is with the team. And we'll see what goes on with that. They need the win, though, because the Red Sox and Astros already won today. So you got to keep pace with those guys. And the Rangers coming to town for 4 games. All right. That is going to do it for us. Great show today. Great conversation with John Schneider. If you missed that, definitely check that out on the podcast page, as well as our conversations with Bryan Walters and Jon Morosi. It's all up there for you. Just head to seattlesports.com. Click the podcast tab. Scroll down to our picture. Click on that, and it's right there. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Wyman and Bob.
Seahawks training camp is underway.
That is music to the ears.
And nobody gives you more insider access than the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us right now. This thing on and ready for you.
Watch how the Seahawks roster comes together.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by the Landing in Renton.
Seahawks training camp on Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. When you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows manufactured right here in Washington and specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. These are the windows you want. They look absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They also come with a double lifetime fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. These windows last up to 60 years. Harley Exteriors is making these windows affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. In July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY or just go to harleyexteriors.com.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on Experience Beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid for below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy Chicken Biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all 3 if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1?